What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the professional ball game podcast. I'm Matt.
I am Thomas.
I'm Dean.
I'm Christopher.
As you can see, not all of we, but most of we are dressed up in professional clothing today. We decided that this is going to be a ball game episode that is buttoned up, quite literally, almost across the board. But someone...
All right, can we set the stage? So
set the stage.
I roasted everybody in the group chat for dressing
Unprofessional like.
unprofessional, we could say, not good enough. I just didn't like the slides, and they took it to heart very literally.
I don't know if it was just talking about slides. You may or may
It was
not.
it was mostly about the slides.
You made it personal. Back my hairy
As soon as I texted, I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." I knew
I
it.
personally
as
think you
soon
made some very valid points, and I'm glad you brought it up. I like this.
Thanks, Tom. I see
I
you've
approve
turned a
of
new
this new
leaf.
He turned heel.
You turn heel. I would grade your outfit an A.
Why, thank you.
I'll give it
good
an
sir.
A.
Why, thank you.
Give it an A. Chris, you get a.
I didn't want to wear a button-up shirt.
No. I kind of like the vibe though. I'll give it an A minus.
Thank you.
Matt, you get a
Such
you get a
shit
D
grade.
you get a
Yep,
D
Knew that
plus.
was coming.
You're wearing a polo with cargos. What
Dean is my
can't
biggest.
get worse?
Dean
than
is
that.
always my biggest hater.
It's just to make you better,
I
bro.
wasn't gonna wear. I wasn't gonna wear dress pants. I didn't feel like it. But I got the dress shoes back in the Farrell days. These are the same ones that I used to be wearing in high school. So, shout out to the Catholic school for getting us all ready to dress nice and neat. Today we're going to be talking sports. It isn't just a professional episode. We do have to talk about professional sports. So the NFL draft obviously happened this weekend. We all know that. Some big winners, some big losers, both in the on the actual football field, that some of these guys may take these teams to a Super Bowl, to the promised land, to becoming the greatest players of all time. And it could be a 6th-round pick. It could be a 5th-round pick to the Cleveland Browns. Who knows? He might be the GOAT. You never see anything coming. And then we'll talk about some fantasy football winners and losers as well, both vets and rookies coming into the new situations. And then after that, the NBA playoffs are in full effect. The NBA playoffs have been phenomenal. Some of these games have been great, or you might just lose by 50, which is not the first time this happened. This is the second time it's happened so far in these playoffs. But last night's Warriors-Rockets game was also a banger. We'll cover all that stuff later. But before we get into all of that, there is a heated debate on the internet right now. The most heated debate on the internet right now. Can 100 human beings, men, take out, hell, some women are stronger than us, so maybe some women in there, but 100 people, 100 human beings, can we beat a gorilla? Can we take out one silverback gorilla? Is it possible? What do you guys think? Tom, get us started. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I do not think the humans would fare well against the silverback gorilla. I believe that the silverback gorilla is a very strong character, and I believe with his
It's an
mighty
animal, brother. What do you mean character?
with his mighty bite force and his ability to just manhandle human beings and his thick hide, I don't believe the humans could do enough damage to the gorilla to make an impact.
What do you think, Dean?
I think it depends. I was talking about this in the PlayStation party last night. I think if it's like 100 of us, I think we're getting smacked. But like,
What do you mean by that?
put like 100 like
What do you mean 100
you-
of us?
right, like 78 John Jones
100
could probably
of them?
take down a gorilla.
Yes. 100 John Jones could fuck up a gorilla, yes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
but like if it's us multiplied by 4, I think we're screwed.
Why the fuck would it be
Well,
multiple?
that would only be 16,
Not
my good sir.
16 people,
25,
brother.
I mean. I meant to say 25.
Us multiple. Yeah, 16 of us is getting our asses whooped.
I love a
Multiply by
silly
25.
calculation.
4, 25, it's the same thing.
Yeah, really good at math, brother.
My bad.
You're a server. You need to be good at math. What the hell is this?
It's not true.
You should be.
Yeah.
Good. You're right. You're right. Chris, what do you think? Do you
I think we're. I don't think we'd do a good job. I think we'd get beat up.
I already cursed, brother. It's over with.
I turned into.
I ruined the
as
professional mood. I'm
Unprofessional,
sorry.
like.
I ruined the professional mood. That's
Unprofessional.
all my fault.
Yeah, I don't have much to say here. I think it's a silly little debate.
You don't think 100 people stand a chance?
No.
Bro, it's 100 people.
A lot of people.
Bro, we just rush him at once. What is he gonna do? We'll suffocate him. That's it.
Well, think about like 8 NBA rosters. Like, you don't think they could take down a gorilla?
Potentially. These are randomly
Bro, I
selected.
think if you multiplied us by 25, by the way, then we would absolutely beat a gorilla still.
Not us.
Yes, we would.
I think if you multiplied 20 NBA starting fives, I think you'd be able to do it.
When the gorilla rips one of us in half, it will destroy the morale of the rest of us.
It's not going to destroy the morale. There's 99 more
But
of us.
it's like the Roman Coliseum. You can't run away. That's it. You're stuck.
Sorry to the 25th Matt Sullivan, but his ass is getting ripped apart on
You didn't
behalf
put
of the
average
team.
people in the Coliseum. Put gladiators in there. They were prepared for battle.
It's true. I
If there's
guess.
100 people and one gets ripped in half, about 15 of them are
Not
gonna.
ripping me in half.
That
Sure.
actually might be the easiest. I just think that there's too many of us. I think that, yes, he's strong. Yes, he'll rip one of us apart, but okay. No, he won't, bro. There's 100 of us. And if he rips one of us, there's 99 more. It's a rush all at once. You literally get on top of this man. Gorilla.
Whoa.
What do you mean?
Pause.
What?
Get
But
on
you don't
top.
think he could just crawl and bite his way out of having 100 men on top of him?
No, there's 100 of us.
I don't think 100 men could just pile on top of him at once
I
That's also
promise
true.
you it can happen.
at the same time.
I think he'll crawl and bite his way out.
Crawl.
You ever
hit,
seen the movie
bite.
World War Z?
Yes.
You know how all those like zombies like created like
We're not zombies though.
Bro, I don't care. we're
You'd
we're
have
good.
you'd have
There
to
were
rally
thousands of
100
them.
people together to do the same thing at the same time.
Yeah. You're obviously going to be able to strategize before it.
No, I believe part of the hypothetical is you cannot strategize beforehand.
Okay, humans are smart enough to outsmart a goddamn gorilla.
It's not about outsmarting him. Sometimes
part
it's
of it
just
is outsmarting
brute
him.
force.
Part of it is literally outsmarting him.
Look at all those dead bodies.
This is not happening in this picture. This will never happen.
Look at all the bodies.
What do you mean, bro?
You try to grab the gorilla's arm, he's gonna go.
He has 2 hands. He has 2 hands and 2 arms.
And we
you
have
grab that shit.
200
You got
hands.
8 people on 1 arm, bro. He's not strong enough to throw 8 human beings off. No, bro. No, he's not. He's not. They're strong. They're not that strong. I'm sorry, but they're not. They have the strength of like probably 6 human beings. You have 100. You have 100. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I think we'd whoop the gorilla's ass.
Wait, Mr. Beast actually made the video?
No, he tweeted
Did you see his quote
he needs
tweet?
volunteers. I did.
Jeez.
I did see Mr. Beast quote tweet. That was
It's
Imagine.
distasteful.
something. Yeah.
It was I mean, it's not going to happen because, you know,
Legal reasons.
legal reasons. But I would love to see it. It'd be cinema.
How much would you pay to see that? Like
Like in person?
if they had it at like MetLife Stadium,
Jeez, that's
how much would you pay?
I don't know if I would want to. It's not very civilized to watch a bunch of people fight a gorilla. And
Tom, you know my views on this kind of thing though, so I'd like to see things happen.
yes,
you know?
yes, that's true.
So-
this is true.
I would probably pay like $500.
If it was 600, you'd be like too much.
Yeah, $501. I'd
What about
draw
you?
the line.
You don't want to see it at all.
I don't think I want to partake in such an activity.
Yeah, you're
Would
right.
you like to partake in such an activity, Dean? We're going. You know you want.
I don't handle blood well. I don't think I could see it.
No.
No.
All right, I'll have to get like someone else to go with me then. I would go watch this 100%.
I don't like
I
seeing
would go
animal
watch this.
cruelty.
Exactly.
We'd
They're gonna
mess
have
up
to
the
call
gorilla.
PETA on our ass because we're whooping that thing from one side of the stadium to the other side of the stadium.
He would do like this.
That's me at the top. Yeah, that's me at the top.
What is that? There's a word blurred out there. What is that? I'm not familiar with, that dialect.
We would beat one gorilla. We absolutely would beat one gorilla.
I believe it
Yeah.
depends on the pool of people.
There was someone on Twitter that like listed 100 people that he would, or 99 people that he would take with him.
Yes, I saw that.
And I was like, that list would absolutely destroy a gorilla.
He had Ben Wallace on there. He had Mark
he had
Henry.
John Jones. You had 2009 Randy Orton. I saw all of that. I was like, no, they're whooping a gorilla's ass. But I don't know. I think 25 of us each would still whoop a gorilla's ass. I'm not going to lie. I really do.
How many casualties do you think there would be?
There'd be
30 to 40.
35. Yeah. Wow. Nice.
Yo, why is his arm growing out of his back?
That's AI for you, brother.
No, that's a real picture. That looks real.
I wonder if like people tried to do this like in the olden days.
If people tried to
Bum rush a
like,
gorilla?
kill a gorilla.
The olden days?
You think people got together and said, how many of
So your days.
Yes.
I think
in
in
your
like
days that
In my time, no. We were much more civilized than this. We wouldn't even entertain these silly conversations.
Tom, when were you born?
2001, same as you. I'm just a, maturely, mentally, I'm a,
Mentally, where are you?
I'm where I need to be.
Didn't they do stuff like this in like the Roman Empire? They put like people in the Colosseum with like a lion and like see what happens.
They
Possible.
did put him in.
I feel like they did stuff
Yeah.
like this
They did put him in with animals.
for entertainment.
Bro, imagine we still had that entertainment. Like people that get the death penalty, like they have to go like wrestle
We've made strides to make sure that doesn't happen.
and it needs to come back. We need to normalize that.
Matt, let's say you're coming in, right? You're coming through the hurdle, right? What's the first move you're pulling out at the gorilla?
No, I'm just sacrificing myself.
Well, right. What
the
is
first
the move?
me is sacrificial.
You have to do damage though.
No, I don't have to do damage.
In order to take
The
down
whole
gorilla,
point of the first guy is you're going in there get like ready to get killed. That's simply what it is. You're getting killed.
you're not the first guy. Let's say you're the 24th guy. What move are you pulling out on the gorilla?
We're all jumping on him.
And doing what?
All
His
one,
back.
all 99. No, bro,
Like
you're
suffocate him?
suffocating him. Yes, you are literally burying this gorilla. That is pretty
But I-
much the only way you
But I
could
feel
do
like
it.
you can't, because like if I go lay on him, he's gonna just I gotta eat my chest.
What
bro.
about what about if you're on his back? He's not like five of you are on his back. There's another 4 attached to one arm, 4 attached to the other arm. You already got 13 people there. Then you got like 4 more in front of him. You're already overwhelming him. 15 of you or 17 of you. That wasn't math.
You gotta pay for ChatGPT.
17 of you are on this guy. And that guy, jeez. And then
Gorilla.
yes, gorilla. And then all the rest of you just jump on top too. You're suffocating him. He's going on the floor. Taking down a gorilla, especially with human hands and tools.
Well,
and
this
no
is how this
gorilla,
all started. Someone asked
incredibly
ChatGPT, and
dangerous and
ChatGPT
ethically
said the humans
problematic.
would win.
Stop with the ethical.
300 to 400
problem. We
pounds
get
is
it.
crazy.
But if you're asking from a
How many Aaron Donalds would it take?
3.
4 to 10 times stronger than an average adult male human. There you go. Exactly. So 17 of us are stronger than him.
In theory.
The
Can run up
average,
to
by the way,
20
the
miles
average,
per hour for short bursts.
we're
He's not
tired.
letting you guys get to him.
20 miles an hour is
Bro,
crazy.
we all surrounded him already. There's 100.
Jumping over you.
Bro, he's not jumping over anything. He don't got a vert like that. He's
Yes, he
400
does,
pounds.
He can definitely run through.
You ever see a
considerable
gorilla's
amount of people.
glutes, bro? You got a big old
Cheeked
butt.
up.
You got a big old
They're
bubble
cheeked
butt.
up.
Bro, we rushed him already. It's over. High risk, the first 10. That's what I said. 35 people are dead. But the other
Throw
65.
humans like rag dolls.
Wow.
Bro, 4 to 10 times stronger than the average human being. Guess what? These are not 4 average
Oh yeah,
human
tell
beings.
ChatGPT yes.
Below average.
No.
So the
Well
yeah.
above average strength in these 4 human beings right here. Well above average strength. Let's
All right,
set
ChatGPT.
this up okay.
The 100 versus the Beast, written by ChatGPT.
Oh my God.
Setting: a high-tech underground arena built by an oppositive.
I don't care about all that.
Genetically enhanced.
Oh,
Why are we genetically enhancing these gorillas now?
King Kong.
He needs to be angry.
But that's not angry.
450
That's
pounds.
genetic. That's literally genetic engineering. That's fucked up. Now we're at a disadvantage.
He has reinforced bones.
Oh, see, this strategy is terrible. divide and distract, that ain't gonna work.
I think it will.
Once you divide, that's it. You're cooked.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to
Yeah, but
sacrifice probably
groups
the
of
first
10,
5 people.
groups of 10 is too easy for him, bro.
What
It's got to be like groups of 20.
groups?
Dudes and 10 other dudes and 10 other dudes.
Groups of 15. Even though that doesn't add up to 100. I
That
know.
I think is the strategy. Like 10 to 15, even 20, distract him, and then the rest, I guess, hide behind him.
yes.
But I don't.
Bro. You can't. You don't have
He's a dumb gorilla.
eyes in the back of your head.
He's not
You
very
don't have
intelligent,
eyes in the
yes.
back of your head, and they're not smart.
They used to hide in the league.
They're not
They're
smart.
smart for animals. They're not smart for human beings, or else they'd be fucking human beings. So,
Depends on who
Well,
you
it depends on who you ask. Yeah.
Yeah,
what is that supposed to mean?
Evolution.
it's Matt.
What?
It's you.
Yeah, I'm aggravated. The testosterone's pumping. I'm ready to fight a gorilla. So, yeah, I mean, Wait, does it say we win? What's the end of this story? I'm curious now.
Aftermath.
30 to 40 left. Many with broken limbs. Many
Psychological
traumatized.
toll
That's fine.
high.
Fuck the psychological damage. We don't care about that. We beat them.
At what cost?
So we won. If there's 30 to 40
you
of
call
us
that a
left,
victory,
we won.
yes.
No, we won.
Call 30 to 40 men with
What?
broken bones and permanent psychological damage.
What was the final objective?
Sure, to kill the gorilla.
Did we accomplish that goal?
Yes.
Then we won.
At what cost?
It does.
what
The
cost?
cost doesn't matter. We accomplished the goal.
Cost does matter.
Interesting
Good
philosophy,
question, good
Matthew.
question.
Oh, the gorilla's not even dead, bro. He's subdued.
Subdued, and there's 35 to 40 people left, and this gorilla's subdued. He's dead. We're good. We won.
Nah, but you got to finish the job.
Okay, we will. He's subdued.
Job finish? I don't think so.
Look up, ask ChatGPT what subdued means for these fine young gentlemen.
I think we know what it means.
Just call me fine.
Yes, you're gorgeous, especially in
Thank
that
you.
suit. Wait, what are you doing,
Thank you.
Starving.
bro? You're not
Nah,
funny.
come
You're
on,
not
bro.
funny. You're not funny.
That was funny.
There we go. It's dead. Yep. He's finished.
Yeah, but what if he gains his vanity intensity?
It's vitality.
Gains
Oh, I
his
can't
vanity.
read that. It's my bad.
Lacking in
Intensity or
vitality,
strength
intensity or
back.
strength.
What if he
He's
gets
not. He's subdued, and there's 35 to 40 people on him.
with concussions
Doesn't
and
matter. Have you
broken
se-
bones?
Did
So
you
we're kinda
watch
subdued in a
Undertaker
way.
Compete with a concussion at WrestleMania.
No,
He worked his ass off.
Well, that's
man.
the Undertaker.
and it's
It
fake.
says 30 seconds to 2 minutes max. He's getting up and whooping.
If we send Nick out
I've
there,
watched
and
Anthony
Nick gets his,
I've watched Anthony Mangini with a concussion in a Pharaoh football game. We
That's
got
great.
this.
did he
we got
tackle a
this.
gorilla? If we send
No,
Nick out there and
but
Nick
they
gets
might
his
as
leg,
well have been.
if Nick gets his leg broken, Nick is out for the count. He's not getting up and having any impact against that gorilla.
Well,
Neither are you.
that's not true.
100
With a
nicks.
broken leg.
How long would it take 100 nicks to
Oh,
die?
you might need 500 nicks. You might need 500 nicks.
100 nicks and an.
You take 100 Aaron Donalds to grill store.
What the fuck
Nah.
are you talking
No.
about?
Nah, that's not true.
No.
100 Aaron Donalds? You don't need 100.
Incorrect.
You could use 50 and we'd win.
Well, right. Like, when you say, like, humans, like, you get either Nick or Aaron Donald. The variety. No, because I'm bigger than you.
Oh,
Oh.
Unfortunately.
keep it professional.
Longer than you.
Oh my gosh. Good golly.
Good golly. Good heavens.
We probably would last the same 1 second.
We're talking about milliseconds now. Yeah, who lasts the most milliseconds, I guess. No, we'd win. That's my final.
Who is the most millimeters?
I'm not lasting that long. I heard that.
I know of the least.
What were you about to say? Yeah, I mean, I think we'd kill a gorilla. I really do. You're gonna have to call animal control on us. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. How many Aaron Donald? You're really asking ChatGPT how many Aaron Donalds?
It's a fair
would it-
question.
I'm curious as to what this answer is, and then we're gonna move on. This is a interesting hypothetical. Okay. How many Aaron Donalds? That's insane. If they think 4 to 7 Aaron Donalds can beat a gorilla,
No way.
What?
Ask Mark Henry's.
Oh, Mark Henry's are a good one.
How many
But honestly, Aaron Donald.
Bailey groupies?
Aaron Donald would definitely.
Aaron Donald would fuck up Mark Henry, I think. I don't know.
I mean, he weighs the same as a gorilla.
Who's Mark Henry?
That's insane.
He's a wrestler, world's strongest man.
Was
What about
the
that
world's
that guy
strongest
from
man.
Florida?
What guy from Florida?
What guy from Florida?
Tyler Hero?
Baker Mayfield?
I don't know. The guy that played for Florida. I think he got drafted to the Bucks.
Oh, the 430-pound.
Yeah.
yeah,
How many
yeah.
of him?
No, Mark Henry is the world's strongest man at a point. So
I believe the 2001 Miami Hurricanes could take down a gorilla.
I would agree.
Aaron
with that.
Hernandez. How many Aaron Hernandezes?
Poor taste. Poor
How many
taste.
Ray Lewis
My bad,
would
sir.
beat a gorilla? All right. Speaking of the NFL, let's move on from this. I think
We
I
can
don't
curb
think
this
I'm going to
debate.
be able to convince you guys that a gorilla would lose to 100 humans. So that's that. But what I can convince you guys is that certain teams that definitely had the best draft in this class. And ready, I'm going to tell you exactly what team had the best draft in this class. It's the New York Giants. The New York Football Giants had the best draft, and they are the biggest winners of the 2025 NFL draft. But there are a bunch of other teams that had great draft classes, and I am curious to see if you guys had some differing opinions. So, Chris, who do you think was the biggest winner if you could pick one of the NFL draft?
No, sir. Elaborate on your point. The floor is yours. Tell us more about the Giants.
So, the Giants got arguably the best player in the entire draft. Our Giants had a great draft, and Abdul Carter was an absolute monster at Penn State last year.
Our Giants.
Our.
That's a good question, but Abdul Carter was the third overall pick, and you could argue he was the number one player in the entire class, right next to Travis Hunter as well. But not only that, the Giants didn't have to take their franchise quarterback at 3, and then they ended up trading a second-round pick and 2 third-round picks to go up and trade Chris's boy, Jaxon Dart, at number 25. I think that was one of the best picks in the draft, one of the best trades you could have made if you're the Giants. You didn't give up a future first-round pick to go and get the guy that seems to be Brian Daboll's hand-picked future quarterback. And then after that, you got value in almost every single round with Darius Alexander, Cam Scatterbo, who, by the way, definitely my favorite pick and going to quickly be a fan favorite in New York in general. I will be getting a Cam Scatterbo jersey. Nick's probably going to get a Cam Scatterbo jersey. I don't know. Tom, you going to get a Cam Scatterbo jersey too?
Yes, of course.
There we go. That's the new New York favorite right there. And then after that, just some dogs, some absolute dogs. Great offensive linemen that we were considering in the 4th round too. So, look, I'm happy. I'm more than happy. Is there bias in this? Absolutely. But the Giants killed it, got our future base of the franchise in Jaxon Dart, and it didn't cost too much. You can't really ask for much more than that.
So I think there's a problem in all this. I think Abdul Carter was the perfect pick. I thought that was great. The problem with taking Jaxon Dart in the 1st round is Brian Daboll is not going to be here to develop him. He will be fired by the end of the season. Joe Shane is going to be fired by the end of the season. They're not going to be here
Good man.
to supplement his development. They're not going to be here to develop Jaxon Dart. There will be no franchise quarterback in Jaxon Dart. The next regime that comes in will have their own guy in their own system. It's not going to be Dart.
See, but you're wrong. Because what this pick did was, at the bare minimum, buy this team buy this regime another year. Whether you like to admit that or not,
It's
it
not true.
absolutely
It's
did.
not true at
It
all.
absolutely did.
It's not because-
John
because-
Mara said one thing coming into this offseason. He said, I want you guys to go get our future franchise quarterback. They did that. Why in the fuck would you fire your coach after you let this guy handpick your quarterback? Because
Handpick
very
with the
clearly-
20-something pick, bro. How often do quarterbacks after the 20th pick ever work out? I'll tell you, actually. In the last 15 years, only Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson. The rest have been Johnny Manziel, I don't have any more names.
Oh, got me.
But there's nobody else. That's it. It's only Jordan Love and it's only Lamar Jackson. Those are the only two quarterbacks in the last 15 years to be taken after pick 20 in the first round to work out.
I would like
They
for
don't
you
work
to look
out.
up right now how many have been taken at the back end of the first round, because I'm very curious about that. Because
Backhand after 20th pick in the first round.
after 20, yeah. Okay.
I actually watched this last night.
Overall, though, you just told me two guys that ended up working out. You just told me
But
that.
two in the last 15 years is not a good ratio, Matthew.
But there probably aren't that many. Okay, Paxton Lynch, there's that. I know that off the top of my head because he was a big-ass bust. But no, this is every quarterback ever. Jeez. I would like for you to pull that up for me.
Okay,
Because-
I'll tell you. Kenny Pickett, Paxton Lynch, Teddy Bridgewater, Johnny Manziel.
Teddy Bridgewater had a productive NFL career and tore his ACL. Like, he was a playoff quarterback with the Minnesota Vikings. And was
So you're happy if Jackson Dart is Teddy Bridgewater. You're not happy. Okay,
if
so
Jackson Dart is Teddy Bridgewater, but the Coleman
Paxton
outright
Lynch,
fail is
so
just
good.
wrong.
Kenny
Bridgewater
Pickett,
was never supposed
Kenny
to be
Pickett,
a superstar in
so
the NFL.
good.
They knew what they were getting with him.
Lamar Jackson.
Kenny Pickett never should have been a first-round pick. That never should have happened.
Okay, and Jackson
quarterbacks
Dart in
fly
any
up-
other draft, Jackson Dart is not a first-round quarterback.
Jackson Dart has first-round quarterback talent.
But he's not in any other draft. You put him in last year's draft, obviously not a first rounder. The year before that, not a first rounder. The year before that, not a first rounder.
What? What are you? Okay, hold on. Go back the last few years, please.
Okay.
Tell me why he's not a first-round pick at the end of the first round last year.
Because 5 quarterbacks got taken in the first round, and none of them would have been Jackson Dart.
Picks. In the first fucking
And
12
none of
picks.
them would have been Jackson Dart.
I didn't say he would be picked in the top 12. He wasn't picked in the top 12 in this draft. But quarterbacks inherently move up the board, and therefore at the back end of the first or the beginning of the second, if you have the arm talent and the athleticism of a Jackson Dart, you're going to get drafted at the back end of the first or the early second. Exactly where he went.
But what I'm telling you is the actual chances of him being good are very slim.
But here's the best part about that. He doesn't have to play this season, which, by the way, aren't you the biggest guy that says quarterbacks should sit the first year?
I agree.
He's
I think
not going to touch the field. Ready? Okay.
I think they are giving him the best chance in doing that, yeah. But I don't think the current regime is going to be here to see the fruits of picking a Jackson Dart.
They just did the best possible thing they could do this offseason. They had a perfect offseason in my eyes because they were able to balance the present and win enough games.
You were screaming and crying for the Giants to sign Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been cool with Aaron too, but it's okay that we got Russell Wilson, who's probably a much better professional to lead your future quarterback next season. Probably a much better professional, if we're being honest, to lead a future quarterback. Because he's not going to go in there and have this ego and be the guy.
Okay,
and
I guess.
He's fully aware of what he was signed on to do. Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart's dream teammate, is on this squad too. He's on this fucking squad too. So you got morale all the way up. You got a competitive team next year. I'm not saying we're going to go compete for the division or make the playoffs. I'm saying that we're not going to go into every single game and get fucking dog walked.
Well, that's the other
which is
thing.
a positive for the regime.
So, unfortunately for the Giants, they're in a division with 2 other teams who will dog walk them 4 times a year.
That's just not true.
It is true.
The Eagles probably will. Don't think
The Commanders
all that.
are significantly better than the Giants.
They are better than
don't
the
bring
Giants.
me into this.
They are better than the Giants. They are not significantly better than the
They are
Giants.
significantly better. They are significantly better, Matt.
They are not significantly better than us. They really are not.
Matt.
Yes, they are, bro. What are you talking about?
Jaden Daniels is arguably the lone position that they are better than us.
And
at.
that's all it takes,
The
honestly.
lone position.
Honestly, that's all it takes. Jaden Daniels is so much better than Russell Wilson that he makes that team just by himself.
Okay, but what's the difference in
In
their
a different-
defenses?
But it doesn't matter if the quarterback is someone. Your quarterback is Russell Wilson.
No, but it does matter.
It doesn't.
Does matter.
It doesn't.
Because this team is going to be able to win some games off the back of their defense. And that's the thing. We're not. And if we lose 4 times to those 2 teams, fine. Okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter that much. Because guess what? Next year isn't supposed
It
to
does.
be the year. They're not getting fired. I don't think you understand that.
If they win 5 games, they're not getting fired.
No.
That's lunacy. That's lunacy.
They're not getting fired. You just let them do that. You let them pick their quarterback.
Matt, if they miss the playoffs again, they're not coming back for another year.
You're telling
they're
me
not coming back.
they
There's
won
no way.
3 games last year. If they go to 6 or 7 with this current squad, without your future quarterback playing a snap, and the defense looks great, and you know that you could pour assets into the offense.
Who's that?
He cheated on her.
If John Mara
They make
lets
the edits with her like announcing that he cheated, and then the future song. What's that one? With the weekend. What's that?
Low
Future
Life.
song? Yeah. That one.
It's honestly a tough edit. I'm not gonna lie.
if John Mara
Tisk.
lets this regime come back after missing the playoffs again with this amazing defense you talk about.
What do you mean talk about? Look at the defense. It's an amazing
Okay,
defense.
so if they miss the playoffs with this amazing defense and they're unable to put together a competent offense with one of the best receivers in the league, they should get fired. 100%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
They can put together a competent enough offense to go out there. I will put, honestly, right now, I'll put $50 on the fact that we win 6 or more games.
I'll make a playoff bet with you. They're not making the
Why the
playoffs.
fuck would I make a playoff bet?
Because they're not making the playoffs.
I just said they're not making the playoffs.
Okay, so what are you arguing with me about?
Bro, if you show improvement as a team with loads of cap space going into next
Look
season.
at the score.
He's
bro.
actually just a worse Zach Wilson.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's a worse Zach Wilson.
That's my boy Cleveland Harris III, bro. Love that guy.
He's not a worse Zach.
I believe the wager.
actually
if you guys
is.
are going to make a wager, I believe it should be that the regime gets fired or not.
That is
I'll do that right now.
That is an
I'll
excellent.
put $100 on this
50.
right now.
50.
$100.
50.
That the regime does not
50,
get fired.
shake my hand.
We're professionals.
50,
Put
shake my
$100
hand.
on it.
$100.
50 and shake my hand.
No, but you're so confident
100.
that the regime's gonna get fired.
100.
50 and shake my
100.
hand.
You're so confident
100.
that this
100.
regime.
Shake-
There we go.
$100.
Put it on the motherfucking board right there.
You want to bet another bet? B?
What?
I bet that we split the series with Washington.
I agree with that.
So I was gonna say, I think between the 4 games against the Eagles and Commanders, they'll probably somehow win one.
We're gonna win a. We're gonna.
They're
win
gonna
the
go
whole
1
season.
and 3.
It could even be
Okay, if you go 1 and 3, you lose to the Super Bowl champs twice. We're not expected to be there.
Exactly.
not
But that's the
understand about
point.
that?
But that's the point of where we're at, right? Because they have this great defense, and they're not a Super Bowl contender. So what do you do with that?
That's not the point of next season. You are missing the point. You need to be like Lethal Shooter and say, I understand it now.
But why would you sit here and let this regime keep on going after constant failure? Why
Brother.
would you do that?
Because the last 2 off seasons are not a failure. They have built towards something. They have built towards a future.
I think-
they have cap space.
I
They
think
made
giving
the
Daniel Jones that
move. They
contract-
made the Daniel Jones move and moved off of it. Good front offices move off their mistakes. They did that. Now they go and get their franchise guy.
This is not their franchise guy.
Bro.
Jackson Dart is not their franchise guy. I'm sorry, Matt. Jackson Dart's not going to save your franchise.
Okay, ready for this? Did it cost us the 2nd overall pick like your sorry ass franchise? No, it didn't. It costed us
In-
a
in-
2nd and 2/3.
Okay.
To get a fucking quarterback.
But now you're getting emotional. That has nothing to do. The Jets have nothing to do with this.
But you're missing the fact that we didn't draft the guy with the 3rd overall pick either. So if the rest of the team is elite, you can still move off that guy and go get your franchise quarterback.
But that's exactly what I'm saying, right? This isn't a top 5 in the draft quarterback talent. He's not that, and he won't be that.
You mean to
He's
tell me-
not going to save your franchise
You mean to tell
because
me
he's
this
not
kid-
that guy.
You tell me that this kid can't turn into something at all.
No,
That's what you're saying.
that's what I'm saying.
I think that's just ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Jackson Dart's not the guy.
Agreed.
I think that's ridiculous.
Okay, we're going to revisit this in years and be like, okay, yeah, I was kind of
I'm
being
not
silly
saying
for
that
making
he's
this
going to
take.
be some superstar, but I'm saying he's going to be a lot better next year when we have cap space.
I don't know. I feel like this is on. Sorry, I feel like this is you just hating on the Giants. I'm not gonna lie, because Jackson Dart seems like the type of guy that you'd be all over given this situation. He has.
Thank you.
He has. Wait, let
He's
me go.
actually the guy, the opposite of the guy that I think.
No, wait, let me go. He has aura 1. He has all those physical tools. He could throw it deep. He can make all the angle throws. He's rather athletic, I guess.
Very athletic.
He's a plus athlete, and he goes to a situation where he doesn't have to play right away and can sit behind a veteran, and I feel like that's your biggest thing is you want to see quarterbacks sit, and he goes to a situation where
I think that could be a saving grace.
Where they allow him to do that, and with the guy who, whether he's there or not past this year, like I don't know. I don't know the answer if they keep Brian Dable or not, but he'll at least have a year with him, and that's the guy who developed Josh Allen into who he is. I'm not saying Jaxson Dart's going to be Josh Allen, but I feel like for Jaxson Dart, this was probably best case scenario to where maybe he can be a hit. I'm not saying he's a sure thing. I don't know. And we're not going to know until 2 years from now if he has it. But I feel like for the sake of his development, this was probably dream scenario, no?
Sure.
And
but what I'm saying is as a prospect, Jaxson Dart is all physical talent. He's not reading defenses like a top prospect. He's not making changes at the line like a top prospect. He's all physical talent, which is great. Look at that throw. That's a beautiful throw. He has arm talent, but so does every other NFL quarterback.
And I know Josh Allen is the like rare scenario, but like,
and even he was taken in the top 10.
Right, but we've said my point is we've seen it before where a guy just like it's not impossible for a quarterback to just get better. You know what I mean?
I agree.
He has
everything.
I agree. He has a lot of shit to dislike, Jaxson Dart. Like he's not.
100% he does.
He's not. He was never going to be a top 5 pick level prospect, but that's not what the Giants paid to get him.
Thank you.
They paid 2 seconds. They paid 2 seconds and a third, and it's not like a second and 2/3. And it's not like we've never seen quarterbacks not drafted in the top 10 hit. And I'm not saying be franchise guys, but I mean the Giants had Daniel Jones, bro. Like anything's better. So I don't know. I think given what they gave up, like you can't be mad at it, whether you like or dislike Jaxson Dart as a prospect. Because I get what you're saying. There is a lot to dislike. There's also a lot to like. And again, with the ability that the Giants have to not throw him into the fire right away, I feel like that's something all of us have made very clear we like, and especially you. That's been your biggest thing.
That's why I got so aggravated, and that's what I said to you before. You, of all people, are all over the fact when a quarterback sits. So
I think every quarterback should sit. I think even Cam Ward should sit this year.
Exactly, though. The Giants are giving him the ability to do that.
And you just said he has all the physical tools, and you listed reasons as to why you shouldn't like him as a prospect.
Because I've seen this exact player before.
Okay.
I've seen this guy. Yeah, he reminds me bar for bar. He reminds me of Zach Wilson.
He started his first year.
I understand, but
He started, and there were
guys that are like
clear
this.
issues. There were very clear issues with Zach Wilson his first season. Very clear issues.
They're the same issues, though.
Yes, I know that. But now you give this man
situation so much better than what the Jets had going.
Did you guys have a offensive coordinator at the time that you trusted and believed could develop a quarterback?
You do?
Yes.
You do?
We have a legitimate offensive line,
because
though.
no quarterbacks out of your system have come out over the last 7 years and been good.
Oh, my.
I mean,
what do you mean
it's only been
7
one
years?
guy.
Time out. He's been there for like 3 years. We won the playoffs our fucking first year. The Daniel
Fluke. That was the biggest fluke I've ever seen in my life.
You could say that all you want, but that was the healthiest and best quarterback he had that he's ever had in this regime. And you're not going to let the guy go get a shot at picking his own guy? You're not going to give him that chance? And you could say all you want about his flaws as a prospect. There is a clear-cut thing that Brian Dable saw that he said, okay, I think I can mold this kid. And if he feels that way and there are those flaws, you now give him the opportunity to sit behind two guys, quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, that clearly have his best development in mind, which not many quarterbacks you could say that about. But these guys have done everything right to this point involving Jaxson
Well,
Dart.
at this point, they don't have a choice. It's either he develops or they are out of jobs.
But that's every fucking team
I just
ever,
feel like
bro.
what else were the Giants supposed to do? They tried to trade up for Cam Ward. We all know that they made an attempt at
offered
that.
a first next year.
They couldn't get that done, and they didn't give up much to be able to not only get the best or second best just overall player in the draft class. They were able to get the clear-cut whether you like him or not as a prospect, the clear-cut QB2 in the draft class. Yeah. The clear-cut.
Yep.
Clearly, the NFL team.
You're right. It
doesn't matter what we say.
Yeah, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know Jaxson Dart was the clear-cut QB2 in this class.
Yeah, but that's not really saying much in this QB class at all.
But it has to mean something.
But it doesn't, because you take this. We know this to be the worst QB class in the last 10 years.
No, not the last 10 years. 2022 was.
But
the
like,
worst,
what were the
regardless.
Giants supposed to do? Not take a chance on the kid?
No, I mean for
Like,
what it is, I think yes, this is the only thing they could have done.
I agree.
But this is a bad move because of that.
I agree with you that Jackson, not the Giants, but Jaxson Dart could get the short end of the stick. And the Giants, it's totally possible that the Giants are so bad this year that they get fired.
I don't think so.
It's possible. It
in the
has
range
to
of
be in the
outcomes.
cards.
It is in the range.
in the
of
range of
outcomes.
outcomes.
I
It's the
agree with you,
lowest
though.
You won
likely.
3 games. You can't even tell me that there's
Bro,
they're gonna be
but
a
we
good
are
team.
one of the most improved teams in the
Not
offseason.
distinguished gentlemen.
I know. So I agree.
You don't win anything for winning the offseason. You don't win a thing. I know
We'll
this better
win
than
more
anybody,
games,
actually.
bro. We'll
I
win
know this
more
better than
games.
anybody. I've been a fan of the team that's had the best offseason for the last 3 years, and we have nothing to show for it.
You have missed the point.
But that's a bad way to analyze the sport, is to just say, like, oh, historically the Giants their offseason moves haven't worked out. We have to analyze the moves they made. And based on the moves they made, they clearly made improvements. We have to be able to give them credit for that. We can't just say,
no,
oh,
he
the
hates
Giants.
The fucking Giants, so
Right,
he won't
you know
do
what I
that.
mean? We have to.
That's not true.
Because even
Well,
when
you're
the Jets,
seeming like one
when
right
the Jets
now.
made all those moves, all we did was give them credit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I
so
was
we
the
got to be able to
biggest
give the
praiser
Giants
of the
And
Jets.
the difference is the Jets were bringing in an MVP quarterback.
I know,
the
but there
Giants brought in
wasn't
Russell Wilson and a
Bro, but
24th
there's-
pick in the
but
draft.
that's the
It's not the
difference.
same thing.
No, but you're missing
It's not the same
again.
Right, but
thing.
the
I come back
expectations
to
are
this, You're
different.
missing the fucking
The
point.
expectations
The
are different.
expectations are
The
not for us
expectations
to
for
go
the
walk
Jets
into
were
next-
Super Bowl.
Yep.
The expectations for us next season are not for us to go walk to the Super Bowl. That's not what's going to happen. What were your expectations after those moves were made? You were expected to go to the Super Bowl or at least
Right.
make the playoffs
Yeah.
and win some playoff games. Our expectations right now are win 7 games, show improvement, go fight in games.
You know, when you
That's
start a
all we're
franchise
asking.
in Madden and you could like select your goals. Like normally, if you're trying to do unrealistic, you set that shit to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
But if
So-
you're being real, you set that shit to 7 wins.
Wins,
So
7 wins,
how
7
many
wins.
years how many more years do you give
So-
Brian Dable and Joe Shane? How many more?
That's
So-
it.
I think that they should have been canned regardless. Like last year, they should have got the can. But Matty J makes a great point that he never had a chance to bring in a quarterback. And in drafting Jaxson Dart and signing Russell Wilson, we all know Jaxson Dart is not going to see meaningful play time until next year.
Not at all.
So I think the moves they made this year inherently made John Mara think like, all right, we could see this through for another year. Let him try out his quarterback. But it could all blow up and be so bad this year. And, you know, Abdul Carter could be a bust. Kayvon Thibodeau could keep being really bad. The secondary could be terrible. Paulson and Debo could bust and be terrible. Javon Holland could be terrible. The defense could be terrible and everything could blow up in their face. And those guys still get fired. But the plan, which we've seen NFL teams like drift away from their plans. Kirk Cousins was supposed to take the Falcons to the playoffs and Michael Penix was never supposed to play. You know what I mean? Like shit happens. But the plan is see it through this year, potentially win 6-7 games, see improvement from the young guys, and then let's see what Jaxson Dart got next year. Right? But I agree with you that Jaxson Dart could get the short end of the stick. It could go so bad, those guys could get fired, and then the new regime next year, and it goes so bad that they get a pick where they could draft a top 10 quarterback next year, and the new
In a
guys
good class.
and the new guys say, we don't have any ties to Jaxson Dart. Let's bring in Arch Manning. You're our guy, the Manning bloodline. Jaxson Dart, a career backup. You know what I mean?
Cap space and an incredibly
Like, I
improved
get
roster.
what you're saying, but, like, I don't think that the pick will inherently hurt the Giants. Like,
No,
you know,
it won't.
Like,
No, no,
worst
no.
case happens, they fire this regime, and then they bring in a new quarterback.
It's
Or
a-
even they
They
bring
took
in
an
a new
outside
regime
voice.
and they
It's the
try to
only
see
thing they
through
could do.
with
It was the
Jaxson Dart.
best thing that they could do.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's
I
a,
don't understand.
that's quite a turn of opinion you had
It took an
there.
outside source, I guess.
It
When,
went from a
when you're
complete fumble
yelling
to the
and not
best thing they could
articulating
do.
correctly,
No. Time out. The only reason I started yelling is because just immediately you came at the pick like it was the worst thing
Like,
of all time.
I think it's a home
Which-
run because I really like Jaxson Dart, the prospect. But
well, that's
I think
where
if
we
you,
differ, right?
Right. I think
I need
like,
you to watch that.
as
that Gruden
someone
QB
who
class.
doesn't
I watched it.
Mega.
who doesn't love Jaxson Dart,
Excellent.
the prospect, I feel like all you could do is look at this from the Giants and say, they did a solid job. Like, let's see if Jaxson Dart's the guy.
If you,
know what I mean?
Like Jaxson Dart or not, he was the consensus QB2 in the draft. So, like, if you can just look at it objectively in that sense and say, well, it went up and got the QB2, whatever that means. If it ends up that he's not a franchise quarterback, then you still make the move because it was
You
so bad.
can't throw out the idea
But-
that the QB2 in this class is still not good
But what do you mean not good though?
in comparison to other QB classes.
Okay, but we could look at Jaxson Dart in last year's draft class and say, okay, Bo Nix gets drafted over him, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix all get drafted over him.
That was the best draft class we've
But
ever
what
seen.
if Jaxson Dart develops better than J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix?
I'm
Landed a
out
better
on J.J.
situation,
McCarthy
too.
too, though. By the way, I'm not a McCarthy
I
guy.
love JJ McCarthy.
Right, so it's not, and there were so many QB needy teams in last year's draft. This year it was the Titans at 1, the Giants, and then it was the back end first round teams. Like last year, it was the whole the top 15 picks. It was probably half of them needed quarterback. That's why the
Right.
quarterbacks went all top in the
Yes.
first 13
Bro,
picks.
if you don't recall, Michael Penix and Bo Nix were not even supposed to be early first, mid first.
It
You
was
could argue
crazy
late
that they
first.
all went first round. And
Yeah.
shout out Bo Nix for being that guy and like being a hit. But like,
And Michael
Bo-
Penix looked solid
Bo
too.
Nix was not supposed to be Bo Nix was shocking last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like to Jason, he wasn't. There were Bo Nix believers out there, but to the consensus, what Bo Nix did last year was shocking.
But right, like even a guy like that though gets taken
But
way
like,
higher
what
than
I'm
Jackson
saying
Dart.
is like Jaxson Dart and Bo Nix as prospects are so comparable. You could lean Bo Nix, but it's not like Bo Nix is clearing Jaxson Dart as a prospect.
You could even say the
not
same
at all.
You could even say the same for Michael Penix.
Yeah, he's in
No,
that tier with
Bo
those
Nix
guys.
is truly an anomaly, stepping in to be a starter his
Right.
first year and having success as the 5th quarterback taken or whatever.
But
it
what
was.
I'm saying is Jaxson Dart is completely in a tier with those guys.
You really put this on.
He's not though.
He
Jackson
is.
Dart is
He
not
is.
in a tier with those
Yes,
guys.
he
But
is.
as a
bro.
prospect,
Yes,
You're
he is.
forgetting to remove what they've done already in the NFL. You need to just
As a college
look at this
prospect,
as a college
yeah.
prospect. And hold on, Bo Nix was a 24-year-old quarterback entering the draft that, yes, had a Heisman level season with some of the best talent around him at Oregon. Michael Penix was also a 24-year-old that had multiple season-ending injuries and finally had a great season at Washington with 3 receivers that, no matter what you think about them, are currently in the NFL.
And an NFL coach.
Yes.
A guy who went to the NFL with him. You know
And
what I
there's
mean?
still better prospects.
And Kalen DeBoer, who went to Alabama.
If you want to say they're better, fine, but we can't act like Jaxson Dart's not in that tier with those guys. I'm sorry. There's enough to like about Jaxson Dart that you could say he's up there with them. Like if I was ranking them right now, as prospects, my ranking would probably be Penix, Dart, Bo, JJ as prospects because I really wasn't in on JJ as a prospect.
I might put Jackson over both of them, but
And I think you can make that tier with Jaxson Dart at the end of it, and that's fine.
But would Bo?
I'm not going to argue you on that.
I still think that both would have gone above him because I think they fit what the Falcons and the Broncos wanted. But
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just think that you're so biased with the Giants taking Jaxson Dart. You had no strong opinions about Jaxson Dart before 4 days ago.
100%. I actually was more in on Shador Sanders, and you could go
Okay,
watch the film.
so what are we even talking about here? You're going to bat. You're going
Well,
to ride or
let's be-
die for Jaxson Dart.
Let's be real here. Between the 4 of us, we've watched more draft film after the draft has happened than we
Right.
did leading up to the
Right.
draft.
That's not true. I watched a lot of Jaxson Dart. I wanted the Jets to take a shot on Dart in I thought he would fall to the 2nd or 3rd round.
The third is crazy.
2nd round, whatever, bro.
But here's my thing. Okay, so ready for this? I want you to look at what we traded
JJ,
for him.
Bo, and Penix were also 2nd or 3rd round graded quarterbacks.
Not JJ, but Bo and Penix
I guess,
were second
yeah.
round graded.
Yeah, but they got taken
yeah,
top
JJ was-
15.
Right, but what I'm saying is Jaxson Dart in last year's draft class probably would have been, if he was the last out of the bunch, then he would have been a top 17. Like someone would have traded up to get him in that class last year, or he would have went over a Bo or a Penix. Jaxson Dart is not some type of bum, bro. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. Again, there's
understand.
shit to not like. There's shit to not like about every quarterback, and quarterback's the hardest position to evaluate across the board in the draft. First 5 picks, first 10 picks, end of the first round, second round picks, 7th round picks. There's hits and there's busts. Quarterback's nearly impossible to evaluate. You could be completely right. Jaxon Dart could be a bum, but from what we've seen and what his tape shows, there's stuff to like. It's not crazy that he was a first-round quarterback. Is he probably a second, third-round graded player? Sure, but like Matty J says, quarterbacks inherently are just going to move up the board and come draft time.
Yeah. No,
quarterbacks you have if you want to get your guy, you have to take them earlier than
get a fucking 20th overall pick.
But
Absolutely not.
I hear you, and I think this is a top 3 landing spot for Jaxon Dart. Top 2, top 1 could be the best.
It probably
right?
is the best.
QB
But the numbers tell you that the chances of him working out in the NFL are low. That is the reality. That is the fact. The numbers say that over and over and over again. They suggest to you that he is not going to work out in the NFL.
I totally understand that point. That's not what I'm getting out of this.
But that's exactly just what I'm saying.
But the fact that we didn't pay much and still left our roster open for flexibility, if we sucked and we ended up in the top 10 next year, you have loads of cap space because Daniel Jones' contract is almost essentially off the books now, and you're not paying anybody big time money.
I get it.
You have loads of cap space.
most quarterbacks are busts. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yes, that's what
Right.
I'm saying. So right.
But
you
but
use
I'm
a first round
supposed to
pick.
look at that and think to myself, fuck, most quarterbacks are a bust.
But
so
therefore, it's not the first round pick that they had. They've still got a first, the
It's
best
not
defensive
just
player
that.
in the class.
It's not, but the situation
you
is
would
different
rather-
from what I'm saying to you is the guys who have worked out in the same position, the Lamar and the Jordan Love. Jordan Love, unique situation with a set in stone coaching staff who's gonna be there behind Aaron Rodgers. Lamar Jackson with John Harbaugh.
Right, but the plan is here that
Jim
these guys are
staying.
going to stick
Yeah.
around. That's why you draft Jackson. That's
Yeah.
the plan. I agree with you that the plan could
You
blow up in
draft
their
your
face,
quarterback,
but
you give them a chance to at least see what he's
But
got
whether
on
you
the
took a
field.
quarterback or not, whether you had Aaron Rodgers or not, I think the regime's gone either way.
I just disagree.
Bro, but look at our draft. You're gonna nail the draft like that and
Nick,
get fired?
you tell me what you know about anything past the second round.
Cam Scatterboo.
Cam Scatterboo, yeah.
It was, bro, everybody had a solid draft. I mean, nobody really had a bad draft. Teams are good at drafting now. Like, it's kind of like, who had a bad draft?
Well, for
Everybody
now.
had.
Now you're just hating.
I'm
Now
not
you've turned
hating.
into hater mode.
I'm not hating.
He's turned into hater mode.
How many
now.
teams had a good
Okay,
draft?
Okay, ready? Let me
A
ask
lot.
you two questions. Hold on. Let me ask you two
I
questions.
don't think the Jets had a good draft.
Let me ask you two questions and we can move on from there.
We don't know. It could be bad. I don't know.
Okay,
Well,
but
then why are we?
let me
why are we
ask you
asking
two
then?
fucking questions, Dean. Number one, the things that you stated before that he has as a flaw for flaws as a prospect. He didn't make many changes at the line. He didn't have to read the full field. All that stuff, right? Now I ask you, him sitting, is that not exactly what sitting for a year would help?
I just told you that
Just answer my
this is
question.
a top landing spot for him because of that reason.
So,
I think that
okay,
every
there's my
quarterback
first
should do
question.
exactly what he's going to be doing.
There's my first question. Now, my second question. Would you have rather us had traded up from pick 3 to go get pick 1 and given up a future first-round pick to go get Cam Ward, and you leave that draft with not Abdul Carter and Jaxon Dart in the first 2 rounds? You leave that draft with Cam Ward and nobody else.
Yeah, because the hit rate on a top 5 quarterback is way higher than taking Jaxon Dart.
Where do you think Cam Ward goes in last year's draft?
Top 10? Still in the top 10?
Okay.
Okay,
10 picks.
I'll tell you right now, though, he is no higher than 4 in that class.
So I think
If that, because a lot of people had J.J. McCarthy super high because he was 21 and his peripherals were phenomenal as a prospect. But if you feel that type of way, if you feel strongly about the fact that Jaxon Dart really just isn't that guy, you're still forgetting the fact that we didn't spend a first-round pick. Essentially, the
no,
way you
that's
look at it,
wonderful. I'm so happy you didn't spend a first round pick. That's great for the Giants. I think that their offseason was pretty good. It was almost perfect. They did as much as they could.
Okay.
But I still don't believe in the regime. I don't believe in the prospect. That's it. Point blank. That's what it is.
You are.
The team is good on paper. Yeah. They had a great offseason. They had a great offseason last year. It's good. I don't believe in the quarterbacks situation. I don't believe in the regime. That's most of what makes up an NFL team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so when
and
you don't believe in those two things, it's tough for me to go to bat for the great defense that they have. It's tough for me to go to bat for the Malik Neighbors that they have.
So
when I don't believe in the quarterbacks, I don't believe in Joe Shane. I don't believe in Brian Daboll.
So if you had 2 great draft classes back to back, and you just let your coach say that is the guy right there. I want you to go get him because I think I could turn him into something. You're not even going to let him touch the field with this current regime. You're going to say, nah, we're going to get rid of all you guys. Even though the plan succeeded, you are going to get rid of
Nothing has succeeded yet. Let's get that straight. Nothing has succeeded yet.
You went and
There's
got
been
your
no
quarterback.
succeeding.
You've had 2 great drafts back to last year. You can't even argue that it was a great draft.
There's
'cause
been
every
no
single pick was
succeeding.
a hit.
We'll see. He's not going to touch the field this year. They might still be bad, and you're going to have another year of wondering if Joe Shane and Brian Daboll are going to get fired.
If the rest of the players in this draft class are good players, and you haven't seen Jaxon Dart play a snap on the field, say we win 5 games, you're firing them. You have a good young core, and your only problem is Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston weren't great. They weren't good enough for you to do anything, but the defense looked great.
I know your options were limited. It's just like you do have the great defense, and you're trotting out a less than mid Russell Wilson. That's the problem here. It's going to take a few years for Jaxon Dart to be good, right? You're going to hold Daboll for another 3 years until Jaxon Dart's a functioning quarterback in the NFL? Because that's how long it's going to take.
No, are you ready? Because here's what's going to happen. It is this 1 year, right? That is the developmental year for Jaxon Dart.
He's not going to be ready in a year. I'm telling you, he's not. He's a young quarterback, bro. He's not going to be ready in a year. Have you watched him play football? He could only do physical things. He's not going to be the leader of the New York Giants next year. It's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Whatever you say, Dean. I guess I can't convince you.
If Jaxon Dart's going to be good, I think it's going to take at least 3 years, his 3rd year, maybe 4th year.
I just think that's insane. He will be starting by his 2nd year. And if he doesn't work out, then you are moving on from everybody. That is that simple.
Yeah, if they mess up the Dart pick, it's over for sure. But you can't give them.
You are looking at it 2 years from right now and saying, "Oh, this is guaranteed to not work, so therefore this is horrible. This is a bad draft."
Have you heard what I've said? I said they had a perfect offseason.
You just shit relentlessly on the Jaxon Dart pick and basically said that was a bad pick because you.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say it was a great pick and then say Jaxon Dart's a bum and he's
like you can't say it's a great.
You think
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think he's a bum. I think the chances of him not being a bum are pretty low.
So
if you had to bet, he'd be a bum.
Yeah, if I had to bet, yes, I'd bet on him not working out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what most people would do, considering 80% of the quarterbacks taken at that range don't work out.
So here's my thing. Does that stop you from ever doing that?
No, like I said, we're running in circles right now. It's a perfect offseason. I don't believe in the coach. I don't believe in the GM. I don't believe in the quarterback situation. That's it. That's what it is. Okay.
Sure. Disagree.
Could he save your franchise? Yeah. Jaxon Dart could go out in 2-3 years and bring you to the playoffs on year 8 Brian Daboll. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Continue being a hater. I'm happy to see that. I can't wait for the first year of Jaxon Dart the following year when me and Dean make another big bet on them. It's going to be.
I can't wait for him to throw 20 picks.
Okay.
Because
Jameis Winston really could be the best.
What is he going to be then, right? Because he's going to step in his first year, not going to be polished because it's his first year being an NFL quarterback. He's probably not going to be the greatest because he's still developing. And then what? You're going to give them another year?
Bro, you mean to tell me that in a fucking year and a half, this man can't retain a playbook? When NFL quarterback...
I'm sure he can. Do you know how hard it is to be a successful quarterback in the NFL?
You're going to tell me right now...
Really hard.
But you're going to tell me right now that they're not going to throw everything at this kid in practices and stuff.
Do you think every NFL franchise doesn't do that with all of their rookie quarterbacks? Every rookie quarterback does that.
Quarterback doesn't get the opportunity to sit for the entire year. and learn a playbook.
And even the ones that don't always work out. It's just like it's not a
the
guarantee.
hit rate is much larger on a guy that you allow to sit. That is a fact. That is a fact. So therefore, we're going to allow this kid to sit. We're going to give him every opportunity to learn the playbook, to go against, in practice, the ones, because Dable already said it. His plan is, yes, he's not going to play a snap on the field, but they're going to mix him in against the ones because they want to make sure that his process in terms of how he is going to develop as a quarterback is expedited.
I just think with Dart, if Dart was taken with a new GM, new coach, I would believe in that scenario. I just think the regime it's a ticking time bomb. I think that's the problem. I think that is the literal problem. I think once they get fired, no one. That's it. That's it with Jaxson Dart.
What I want you to look at this as, though, is this regime is not getting fired because of the fact that they just drafted a quarterback.
But what
you need to look at it, but you need to look at it in those lenses.
But they don't get a fresh 4.
But they're not getting a fresh 4, but they are guaranteed the next 2, which is all you can ask.
But what I'm telling you is, he's gonna sit this year. You probably won't be good again. Probably. I don't know. You probably won't be good again. And next year, a first-year starting quarterback is also probably not going to be that good. So how long do you really give them?
I don't know.
For them to retain their jobs, he needs to be good next year.
It's a 2-year regime. He doesn't need to be good next year.
For them to keep their jobs, he does.
Next year, you guys have to make the playoffs.
No, we do not.
Not this year coming up. The year following?
The year following?
Yeah.
Yes. Or at least he has to show a ton of flash.
No, you guys got to make the playoffs in 2 years.
Not this season, but next season.
Yes.
I think you can win 9 or 10 games.
No, you guys got to make the playoffs, bro.
Or else they're getting fired. That's a fact.
Bro, if you win 9 or 10 games and miss the playoffs in Jaxson Dart's first year starting, I don't.
Yeah,
that's
but
what
how
I'm
many
saying.
times do you win 9 or 10 games and really miss the playoffs? If you win 9 or 10 games,
this
you probably
division, you might.
But how many? But like, how many years do you give Brian Dable?
Yeah, I mean,
on year 8, you're really like, all right,
10
try
games,
again,
you're probably
Brian.
making
You've
the
made the
playoffs.
playoffs
Yeah, right.
once.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
No, you have to make
Bro,
the
the
playoffs.
NFC's stacked.
No, I mean if he's 5 years into his coaching regime and made the playoffs once, like that's not gonna fly. Like,
I guess. I don't know.
And that's what I'm getting at this whole time. The chances of all of this working out is just pretty low, and I'm out on it.
I mean like Matty J said, like the chances of any quarterback working out in theory is also low.
yes, okay.
like,
the pick.
You know,
Even
All right,
top picks bust, bro.
I'll give to you.
Often.
I was wrong at first when I said it was a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. This is literally like, if they had any chance, it's this right here. This is their chance. This
The
is
only
their
other
way.
chance was trading up for Cam Ward.
right? Yeah,
And they tried to do that.
yeah.
This is
Last year,
You said you were cooler with that.
according
we
to
we tried.
According to all the
No,
sources, last year too, they tried to trade up.
We wanted
Like,
Drake
so-
May so bad.
I know, and this is the best thing they could do.
It hasn't been from a lack of trying.
I understand. No. I'm not saying they're not trying. I'm sure they're trying. I'm pretty sure they're trying. But I think Dable and Shane are just running out of time.
100%. We
Yeah,
don't
that's
know that,
100%
though.
true. Yeah.
And that's what it is. The chances of them succeeding are just low. It's just low, and I just don't believe in it. That's just
So
what
if
it
this
is.
was the move-
But what we're asking about is not 2 years from now. What we're asking about was right now, is this a good move or not? And you just said it is a good move. So therefore, the Giants had a good fucking draft.
All they
Okay.
have to do this year to keep their
Then that's it.
all they have to do this year to keep their jobs going into next year is be better than they were last year.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's it. They had a good draft.
All right.
Jeez.
Any other teams?
How
we
much
think
time
had
did
a
we
good
spend on
draft?
that? 45 minutes?
A long
A
time.
long time. A very, very, very long
Yeah.
time talking about the Giants.
What other teams do we think had a good draft, Tom?
Well, the Giants got 2, distinguished gentlemen in the first round. I will give them that. I like that. I like the Raiders draft. They drafted Genty with the 6th pick, which I know we don't love running backs with high draft capital, but I think the tide is turning on that. I think a good running back. We just saw that a good running back can be the foundation of a great offense, and you can win a Super Bowl that way.
If there was any running back to take 106,
Right, it would be Ash and Genty, yes. And then in the later rounds, I think they went O-line later on.
They did.
They had a good draft.
They did, yeah.
So I think they had a great draft. I think you guys are right. Like a lot of teams had decent drafts at minimum. Like
Last couple
pretty much
years.
every team. Yeah.
I don't think anybody had a bad draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think so.
Yeah, I
either, to be
completely agree. Teams are getting much better at drafting for sure.
This was a lot of trenches guys went too, so, and that you
can't go
gotta
wrong with that.
yeah
Right. None of those picks you could sit there and be like, that was a bad pick.
right.
It's an offensive lineman. You can never.
Also,
miss,
us
really.
especially. I don't grind
Yeah.
the film of these offensive linemen. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're a bad pick.
Did the Saints take a quarterback?
Tyler Shuck in the second
Okay,
round.
yeah, that's right.
That was bad.
Tyler Shuck.
That was
in the
bad.
second round. I did not.
I was
love
surprised.
that.
It was
Isn't he like
surprising.
25?
He is 25
Wow.
years
Take
old.
him over
I think
Shador
he
is
was
crazy.
starting his first year at 26 years old.
They're saying he played with Juwan Johnson at Oregon. Juwan Johnson just signed his third NFL contract.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Crazy shit.
Yeah, that was bad.
Um,
If I was gonna pick a loser, it'd be them.
The Steelers not ending up with Shador, I was confused by. I will. And the Browns taking Dylan Gabriel to only then take Shador Sanders
That was
around
a little
later.
weird.
Shuck was on the team with
Is-
Herbert, and Oregon produced 2 more quarterbacks since Herbert.
Yes.
3 quarterbacks got taken.
He was on the team with Herbert.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an
He's
old man.
had a lot of injuries. And funny enough,
Yeah.
this was actually his first year as a full-time starter in college football.
Good for him.
And he's been in there in college football for like 7 years.
You know
8
what?
years.
I like that story. Go Shuck.
Yeah, I mean,
Shuck.
I'm rooting for the dude. I'm definitely rooting for the dude. I just don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, like I said, the Dylan Gabriel to then take Shador Sanders was a strange move to me.
Oh, so
Because
weird.
like now one of those guys is destined to not be a starter. You know what I mean? Like
But if you flipped them and you took Gabriel in the 5th round, it doesn't look as bad.
So,
if you took Shador in the 4th and Gabriel in
if
the 5th,
you took Shador
sure,
in the 3rd
yeah.
and Gabriel in the 5th, it doesn't
Sure,
look
yeah.
as bad.
so what does that depth chart look like? Shador's
Flacco.
over Gabriel,
There
right?
are
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of motherfucking.
Oh, I mean, there's no
quarterbacks.
depth chart right now. We don't know anything until they get in camp.
But like in theory, that quarterback room, like
in
So-
theory, they don't. I'm telling you, like, there's
They have
no
no
depth
clue.
chart. Like, it's
Yeah.
like whoever comes
So
out on
Watson's
top.
not going to be on the roster.
Watson's
'cause
not going to be on the
he-
roster.
Watson's
One
not going to be in the
of-
roster.
Well, because he
Flacco-
tore his meniscus.
One of
yeah.
Flacco or Pickett will likely be cut. One of the
Yeah.
two. And then both of Gabriel and Shador are likely going to be in the depth chart.
If I had to bet, Pickett would probably get cut.
Yeah,
if I had to
that's what I
guess.
would assume too.
Probably keep Flacco for.
You keep
Veteran.
Flacco
Didn't
and
they trade
then
for
you
Pickett?
have
They signed him.
they traded for him.
Did they? What did they
Yeah,
give up for him?
Traded for him. I
like a
think
6th or something, just to cut him, like would be
I think a 6th. Yeah, I mean,
pretty.
who cares?
I
It's
guess,
Traded
so,
a
like,
6th and also took 2 more quarterbacks. So
Right,
you're just
yeah.
wasting draft picks over
Yeah.
and over on.
But I overall thought the Browns outside of that had a good draft.
My guess is honestly Dylan Gabriel was the opening day starter for them.
I don't
I
know,
agree.
man.
I agree.
I think
I like
Flacco
that.
starts game 1.
Well, that's not.
I think they probably took Gabriel to be a placeholder.
I think Flacco's
Sure.
game 1 starter, man. I really do.
Do you think they took Gabriel and got so much heat for not taking Shador that they felt like they had to?
They did not look happy when they took.
Well,
Shador.
so that's what a lot of people say. So first of all, they traded up to go get Shador.
They did,
A lot of
20
people were
picks.
saying, I don't know the owner of the Browns' name. A lot of people were
Jimmy
feel,
Haslam.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like he kind of forced the pick, and that's why no one looked happy when they picked Shador. He was like, "Why is this guy still on the board?"
To
Which
be
like,
quite honest, I really don't think it's a bad idea in the 5th round, though.
no,
'Cause
I don't
if
think
he
so
really
either.
Has
Yeah,
a fucking attitude problem. Fine, you cut a 5th round pick, and I guess I understand that you're wasting these draft picks in a way, but like your likelihood of hitting on a 5th or
Yeah,
6th
yeah.
round pick in the first place is not high. So, I loved their draft. I also love Harold Fannin, but like that's just that.
I like the Fannin pick.
I love the Fannin pick. I think Carson Schwessinger is a great linebacker.
Took
And then
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham, and you got a 1st round pick
Mason
for next
Graham's a
year.
dog.
That D line is crazy.
Oh, it's nasty.
Mason Graham's a dog.
Yeah, so I think the Browns had a good draft, and I think, look, if Shador just got a fucking attitude adjustment, shout out John Cena. I mean, how
I'll
are
adjust
we
his
so
attitude.
sure that he can't be the starter? Like,
No. I'm not sure. I don't know.
You're asking like it's such a tough. It's tough to evaluate Shador because like everything we think we know about him is just that, like it's just rumors
yeah,
that we've heard. Like you can't because it's all like
So many of
personality
them.
and
Oh.
ego and all
Yeah.
and what's true, what's not true. So you can evaluate the film, sure. And on the film, he should have gone a lot higher than the 5th round pick. But yeah, as a prospect, like I said, that all that other stuff, there's got to be some like he pulled up in those interviews like wearing
Oh.
slides, and they just
With his hairy legs out.
with his hairy legs out, wearing slides, blasting music, not a care in the world. Like, yeah, it's tough with Shador, but worth taking a shot in the 5th round pick. Why not?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I thought they did an okay job, the Browns. My biggest winner of the draft is the Patriots. I think they killed it.
Smashed it.
Will Campbell, you get a franchise tackle or, maybe potentially
Franchise
a guard, but
crybaby.
probably a tackle. Franchise crybaby, but he said he'll die for Drake.
Yo,
He
He
did,
Like,
yeah. No, if you watch that interview,
Yeah, I felt that shit in my
we were
blood.
laughing at him, but like he actually said some
Yeah.
pretty
He
cool
said
stuff,
some
pretty good stuff.
deep ass shit. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. He's a dog.
Yeah, I mean, you get who I had as the running back 2, as the 4th running back off the board in the 2nd round. I think that's a home run. I mean, you saw what Chris Ballard said about my boy. He said he's the best pass blocking running back he's ever seen come out of the draft, Trevion Henderson, which it checks out. And he's just so explosive, like he adds to this offense. You get Kyle Williams, who I thought this was a little high for him, but like Kyle Williams' tape is insane.
Yeah.
He cooked Travis, which is always a nice thing to see. And then you get a center with your 4th pick in the draft, another 3rd round pick, the center from Georgia, Jared Wilson. So like overall, and they had a bunch of picks. Like I'm not going to go into the 4th, 5th, and 7th round picks. Like
They
I
hit
don't,
on a few. of them.
I
They
don't
got
know
an edge
who they
rusher.
are.
They
but
got an edge rusher late in the draft that is really, really, really good.
yeah, I don't know any of these guys. Braden Swinson from LSU.
Yes.
That's the guy.
Braden
Got him in the
Swinson.
5th round. I'm not gonna act like I know who the fuck that is. but-
The good teams got a lot better too.
Oh my god,
The bottom of the draft there, the Ravens, Chiefs, and Eagles nailed it.
just unbelievable.
Chiefs had a home run draft. Eagles, like the Eagles, you don't even got to.
The Eagles could pick anyone, and you'd be like, yeah.
That's what Jason was saying to me. He was like, it's sick that the Eagles got you Hod Campbell at the end of the 1st, but whoever they picked there, we would have been like, wow, the Eagles really got.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if they took Will Johnson
just
there
gonna say
at
that,
the end
yeah.
of the 1st round, we would have been like, wow, the Eagles won the draft. So
Imagine they took Shador.
we would have probably still said the Eagles won the draft.
Holy
like
shit,
how we
trade
would've-
Jalen Hurts. Yeah.
Didn't the Browns trade in front of the Eagles
For Shador,
in the 5th round?
I have no idea.
I know they, like I said, I know they traded up, but
I don't think it really came down to that, but yeah,
Texans, a lot of people didn't like their draft. I don't think did they draft an O lineman?
Who?
They
Texans?
drafted a few, yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
drafted
Two
a few of them,
receivers.
actually.
I like the receiver pick.
I like their receiver. Yeah, I mean they have the chemistry too. They're boys.
Which
I mean,
receivers do they got?
Iowa State boys,
Oh,
Jaden
yeah,
Higgins
yeah.
and Jalen Noel.
So I don't love the Higgins pick.
It was a little early, but
It was a little early. I feel like they didn't really need. They didn't need his skill set.
he's repetitive.
Yeah,
Nico.
I love the Jalen Noel pick.
I feel like you could never get enough.
But I was
Nico
about to say, you
Collins
got 2 Nico
archetypes.
Collins
True.
on this thing.
He could do everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand. That's not.
Oh yeah, I just feel like that wasn't for their first pick in the draft. Was that really the need to reach a little bit on a receiver when you were going to take a receiver? 30 picks later,
Well, you
another
lose.
receiver 30 picks later. You lose Diggs.
You lose Diggs.
Tank Dell.
Okay, you need to replace them
You
somehow.
bring in Christian Kirk. You
God, they got Kirk.
Yeah, but that doesn't move the needle really.
Christian Kirk when he's
Damn
on
good
the
slot
field is a
receiver.
great slot receiver. Good slot receiver. I won't say great.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Good slot receiver. I don't know. I love Jalen. I like Jalen Noel, the prospect, more than I like Higgins too. So I just think it's weird to draft Higgins and then draft his teammate, who a lot of people had graded out better, 30 picks later, when the team like desperately needs other things. So I didn't love it.
There's a lot of targets to be soaked up though.
A lot of
and I
targets to
feel
go
like
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
needed
don't
to take
mind
a
that.
couple receivers.
Yeah, I mean
regardless.
they're another team who had a ton of picks. So like, I'm sure someone down the board, like
Someone's
one of
gotta
their
hit.
6th round picks, is going to be great.
I was like certain they were going to take a running back. I was so counting on
They
it.
did. They did take a
Yeah.
running back.
Took Woody Marks.
Woody.
before.
Yeah, Woody Marks. Or whatever.
Woody Marks.
Yeah.
Thought they
He
were going to
gonna
go
play.
like 2nd round, 3rd round running back. I thought they were going to take
They still
like a
think
Caleb
they probably
Johnson.
still think Mixon
Mixon's that guy.
has stuff in the tank, so they
Yeah.
just wanted a guy to spell him. You know?
Still has guaranteed money for the next
Yeah.
2 years. So
I'm sure
Exactly.
next year they'll probably draft his replacement or the year after,
Unless
whatever.
Woody's
but
that dude.
you sent me a 2nd for Mixon. Kind of like that.
Yeah, I did. I did offer you a second, and you declined.
You won't
it,
give me
so.
Ray Davis, bro. You're being stingy, bro.
Why would I give him? What do I need with the 3rd round pick, bro? I'll keep Ray Davis.
Ray Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but why? Why would you keep Ray Davis at the same time?
Why would I get rid of him?
Because maybe is it a 3rd round pick this year?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not a bad offer, the 305 for Ray Davis.
I don't think it's a bad offer at all.
All right,
It's done now. It's
give me
done now, bro.
Okay. Give me a future fourth and 305. I'll
I
give it
don't
to you
got
right now.
any more of those, bro. You gotta wait
All right,
till after the
What do you
draft.
have in the second round, bro?
207.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Never
All right, we
mind.
could jump into the fantasy stuff.
Yeah,
though.
we might
Sure.
as well. Since we're already
Yeah.
introing it.
Shout out all the defensive players who got drafted who probably none of us really watch film on. All you
True.
guys, like, congratulations.
I like James Pierce a lot, though. I think he's a dog.
I thought
agree with you.
that, like, thinking back on it, they gave up a shit ton.
That was
Yeah,
a
they did.
lot.
They gave up a
But
lot.
I think he,
But you don't do that if you don't believe he's
could
a game
easily
changer.
be
He could be
the-
the best edge rusher in the class.
yeah, I was going to say easily be the second best, but we could go as far as the
He
best.
could be
Like,
better than Abdul Carter.
he just has crazy, like, athletic traits that,
Yeah.
like, you just can't teach. So, and the Falcons need him to hit so
Desperately.
bad.
Desperately.
So bad.
He was a great prospect too. I don't know.
Going into
There were
college, he
character
was
concerns. That
he
was
was
the
a
thing.
projected first overall
Yes, he
pick.
was.
It was him or Shadur
Yes, he was.
going into this college season. So like, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Sam Howell was too before his last college season, but
Shit happens.
Sam
I
Howell's
guess.
going to take JJ's job.
Oh God.
That'd be
Okay.
something.
All right. I don't know about all that one, but I mean, look. Shout out to the defensive players, yes, but we do have fantasy football to talk about. Dynasty more specifically, because some rookies entered great situations and some vets unfortunately have lost their jobs because of it. So I'm curious, who is the biggest riser in terms of fantasy football for both rookies, riser and faller for rookies, and riser and faller for vets? What do we think?
So we said we were going to make a list. We were going to do one rookie and one vet for each. I'm taking someone off the board because we're all going to consensusly agree. The biggest rookie riser is RJ Harvey.
100%.
So we're not gonna make that one of our picks. We could talk about that fast. It's very simple. The Broncos needed a running back. They had Audric Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin. They took a second-round running back. It was unexpected, but RJ Harvey's the guy, a guy with second-round draft capital. He's going to play right away.
I did not expect that pick.
He could end up being the best non-Genty running back in year one. So, like, he's going to be a home run for, I think, anyone who drafts him. And where he's going right now, like, he's still being underdrafted.
He's late
and,
first, early second. right
Yeah.
now.
Do we want to
In
start with
Dynasty
the negatives or the positives?
What's the earliest you would take him?
RJ Harvey.
Yeah. Just a quick question.
So it depends because in my two leagues, like I have earlier picks that I'm planning on taking a running back. So like I don't know
How
if he-
early is early?
I was thinking about taking him at 110. I was telling Chris that last.
Okay, but I don't think that's crazy.
Right.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you could go- I think
if
you
he's
could keep
there for
going.
me in our league at the 111, I'm taking him. I think.
Shit.
I know you wanted him at 202.
I did.
Yeah,
I said that.
He's
You go-
not making
you go,
it
nah.
there, bro.
Definitely not.
I mean, I
making it
think
there.
you could. It's the conversation is really RJ Harvey or Caleb Johnson. I think that's where you have the conversation, because I think the Ohio State guys you take over him. I think
Oh,
it depends though.
Judkins is a tougher one. Travion, I 100%.
I don't.
agree
Yeah,
with
I didn't love the Judkins like profile. His tape is good, but like analytically, like he wasn't that great. And
Trayvon's going up and up and up, bro.
yeah, I know. I'm pretty nervous about that, but I don't love the Judkins landing spot as much as a lot of people do, especially for year one. Like year one, I think RJ Harvey's gonna be better than
They
Judkins.
drafted another back.
Sampson.
Yes,
They
Joe and
drafted.
Sampson. Yep. I think that's a good duo for the future, but I think this year, his first year, is going to be a little tough for him to get consistent touches, but talent wins out. So, I mean, if he's the best back there, I mean, he'll beat out Jerome Ford. I don't think they're married to the
Yeah,
idea
no,
of Jerome Ford.
he should get the bulk of the carries from day one. It's just like RJ Harvey's in a much better
Oh,
situation.
100%. I would take Harvey over
Yeah.
Quinshawn.
I have the first pick, so I have 201 also. So I would probably consider Harvey. It would depend on who's on the board, because like
I think if he's there, you gotta smash it.
at 201,
Nick, can I see the
yeah.
set? Can I see?
Because like I don't know about the receivers that are going
Can
to
I
be
see
there.
what it looks like?
Nah,
No, we can't.
Oh, why?
Can't look at it because it's not
the
connected.
new camera needs a different
Oh,
wire
yeah.
to plug into the
Gotcha.
computer.
Yeah. The receivers, I don't know if like they're as safe as like they drafted Harvey to be eventually their starting running back
I
probably.
think
You know,
Harvey
so
is probably the safest pick
Yeah.
Off the bat.
Draft.
yeah.
Or we could be a top 10 running back this year in fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a Sean Payton offense, yeah, he really could be.
100%. So I think I'll go with my biggest non-Harvey winner. It's Cleveland Harris III. I mean, this is ideal for my boy Cleveland, going to the Los Angeles Chargers to play alongside Lad McConkey, to play with Justin Herbert. This is the perfect landing spot for him.
At first, I was like, "Who the fuck is Cleveland?"
That's what I was thinking too. And then
that's his real name.
And then
Yeah,
I was like, wait, Trey Harris got drafted by the Chargers too. And then I was like,
drafted two
okay,
Harrises.
I put it together too.
No, his name's Cleveland. Well, according to his Twitter, I hope he's not just his name on Twitter isn't just Cleveland Harris for no reason. That'd be a little weird.
It's so
But
weird.
no, Trey Harris, I just think his skill set fits ideally next to a guy like Glad, and he could be what Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston weren't. So,
And with Justin Herbert,
Yeah.
oh my God.
yeah, I mean, he's a guy who he's right there in that range with the RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnsons of the world, the end of the first round right now, who if you took him higher, if you took him in the 1.8, 1.9 range, like I understand it. I love the prospect. He was a man coverage killer. Like, he's just dominant against, I mean, the yards
10
per
yards
out run,
per
we
route
all know
run.
that. So,
Against me.
and he, like, again, it's easy to make the A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf comps for him, but he really does have that body type. He's not as, I don't think he's as explosive as those guys, but I think he's a little bit better as a route runner coming out than A.J. and DK both were. So I really love Trey Harris, the prospect, and this is a perfect landing spot.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that because that was my pick too. Getting Justin Herbert, a actual good X receiver, I think can be a good thing. I know it's a run-heavy offense, and they spend a first-round pick on a running back, so don't love that for the passing volume for the offense. But I mean, he should definitely be. He could at least be a red zone guy. You know, score some touchdowns, get some big plays. So love this pick for him.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know how good Trey Harris is at run blocking, but he's a guy who should profile
Big guy,
well
yeah.
and do a good run block
big enough
with
guy.
Belichick
Watch
love.
mad Trey Harris.
Yeah,
run
right.
blocking.
Like,
Right,
I'm not going to pretend I know he's a good run blocker, but he should be ideally with his body type.
Yeah, with
so
Jim
I think
Harbaugh's
Harbaugh's
too,
going to
like you
love
said,
him. Yeah.
Who do you have as biggest riser?
Biggest riser, I think this is a little bit of like a. Actually, no, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go Cam Scatterboo. I think that was a great landing spot for Cam. I think with how many running backs there were in the draft,
Thought he runs a
I think he could have gotten stuck with a team like the Browns that took a running back already. But he goes to the Giants. I don't think Tyrone Trace is a lock to be their guy. I think he had a lot of fumbling issues last year. He's obviously good, but Cam Scatterboo has the ability to add a different dimension to the Giants' offense.
I mean, as a Giant fan, I was ridiculously happy, and I'm sure you
Love
were the
Scatterboo
same
pick,
exact
yeah.
way.
I saw someone say I can't wait to hear like New Jersey Italians pronounce the name Scatterboo.
So, my favorite part about him is the fact that there's only one guy in recent memory that has matched his statistical profile, and his name is Christian McCaffrey. Like,
Wow.
only guy that has matched his statistical profile is Christian McCaffrey. He was second in the country by a wide margin in broken tackles and missed tackles.
You heard it here first. Matty J says Cam Scatterboo is Christian McCaffrey 2.0.
I would love for that to be the case. I don't think he has
It's in the range of outcomes.
The top end speed isn't there. That's part
But
of
the
issue.
analytics there are a little shaky.
Yeah, a little bit. The likelihood is,
I love the fact that he's a great pass catcher, and I think that's huge because now you have so much versatility with Tracy and Scatterboo. Tracy, a converted receiver that you could actually split either one of them out wide because they're good enough route runners, and you have so many dimensions to the offense now because of them too, and you have a thunder and lightning aspect, which I think is just great. I wouldn't be surprised, honest to God, that Cam just takes the job fully. That just becomes the 3-down back, every down back for the New York Giants. And I really do see that happening. I don't think it's guaranteed, but I could see it happening. And I loved this pick. I am so goddamn happy because he is so difficult to bring down. And, man, I can't say enough
he
good
runs
things
like a
about it.
bowling ball.
He really does. I can't say enough good things. He reminds me so much of Doug Martin.
I mean, that playoff game was just absolute electricity, dude.
Oh, insane.
When he threw for a touchdown, dude. Oh
Called a
my gosh.
touchdown on a fucking designed deep route. And he's
I can't believe they lost that game. Still to this day, I remember watching that live.
Matthew Golden.
Bro, Arizona, it was like 3rd and 20, and they let them score a touchdown.
It was 4th and 20.
4th and 20. Like, all you have to do is just stand at the goal line, bro.
Matthew Golden made a crazy grab.
Yeah, I like Scottaboo. I think he has the capabilities to be a 3-down back, but I think he's going to benefit from having a guy like Tracy to take some load off him, and he's going to be more efficient than he even was in college on first and second down. So, and he has the capabilities to, play all 3 downs too.
Look at that.
That's just stupid as a receiver.
Disgusting. He's Arch Manning on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. His contact balance has been talked about all year too. So
It's slow.
4.64. He's not super fast. But game speed and 40 speed are completely different. Like
It's not his game.
it's not, and that's okay because he just throws dudes.
Yeah, he's just a wrecking
He
ball.
just throws dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He got the James Conner comp pretty early on, and I think
I
that's
could
pretty
see that.
spot on. Yeah.
Love James Conner.
that'd be great. Oh my god.
Small.
Because I feel like it's like Scottaboo has insane receiving stats, but I feel like in a perfect world, you don't want him to be your, I don't know,
RB1.
not RB1, but like it's the same thing with James Conner. Like James Conner can be a great receiving back. but
Oh,
like
yeah. Okay.
in an ideal, I just think
He's a really, really, really good route runner.
I just think in the NFL right now, you don't really want a workhorse in general. Like you want to be able to spell your guys.
no, I
don't know,
agree,
you know
but
what
I'm
I
just
mean?
saying you do have the capability.
Yeah,
to
he
use
can
him
do
as
it.
a
It's
legit
that's what I
receiver.
mean. Is
Yeah.
it's very similar to James Conner. Like James Conner has those abilities. We see it every year with what he does in fantasy, but James Conner would probably be even better in terms of like real football if he had a guy next to him who could take some
Yeah.
pressure off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trey
And
Benson is
Tracy's-
going to be that.
Tracy's super fast. He's the
Yeah.
opposite of this. He's elusive and he's super fast. So I think they're a perfect duo. They're a perfect duo together. I think I'm very excited for that.
Definitely
That's
could
a
see
crazy catch.
I could see the high motor from here.
Yeah, for sure. He's a guy who knows the angles.
Hell yeah.
Plays the right way. That's all he does. My biggest draft riser is not a name that we're all super familiar with. He's been a recent draft riser, and his profile is ridiculous. It's
Ashton
Faisal
Genty.
Tootin. It's Faisal Tootin.
Sorry.
And I'm not saying this is a perfect year one pick. If you're competing, this is not the guy that you necessarily want to go after. Unless you got a really deep roster and you don't need him your first year.
He winning the job year one.
He runs a 4.32. He has 210 pounds size. And he's actually a very good running back in the first place out of Virginia Tech. And I'm saying if you wait a year, he's probably the guy because Tank and Travis Etienne, I think both are going to be free agents after this season. So this is an investment, and I think it's a great investment in a good offense or what profiles as a good offense in the future. So he went from probably a late third, mid third to you could argue a mid to late second round pick now. So I think he's one of the biggest risers.
Yeah, I mean it's very simple. He gets paired up with Liam Cohen. We saw what Liam Cohen did with Bucky Irving last year. It's literally that simple for me. This guy, he's much more explosive than a Bucky Irving too, which is crazy to say, but he just has more top end speed and a little bit more juice than a guy like Bucky Irving. So he's gonna have a role on day one. Like I still think Tank Bigsby is gonna be involved, just like in short yardage situations and stuff like that. But Travis Etienne, like, it's over. Sadly, it was a good
what a fall
ride.
off.
Crazy that I
It was a
traded
good ride, man. It was a good ride.
him. Wild.
It really wasn't a good
drafted
ride.
him.
I was
He
gonna say,
had
was it?
one good year, but
Yeah.
Shout out
for,
Travis Etienne,
traded him
man.
for Monty.
what a guy.
Then I traded Monty for Saquon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tootin's a guy that I don't know where you guys stand with this. I'd draft Tootin over Scottaboo personally.
Yeah,
They're like back to back,
yeah.
but like
Ooh.
I like the
They're
Jags.
close, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't because I think Scat has the real 3-down profile in him. Like I think Tootin is a capable pass catcher, but like this dude can legitimately go out there and catch 60.
yeah,
70
but
balls.
Tootin's the type of dude who could put up freaking like 30 fantasy points on like 10 touches.
on 10 touches. Yeah.
I feel like Scattaboo's a really
And he is the
good
goal line back, which is a good thing.
piece of your offense, but
Utility
I don't
guy?
think he's gonna be the guy, right? I think Tootin has the
None of
ability
these
to
guys
be.
in this range are going to be the guy.
Yeah, but I think
Tootin's
even
gonna be-
Tootin has the ability to be like a 3-down guy at some point. I don't think Scattaboo's ever gonna be a 3-down
I
guy.
don't see why not though. I really don't see why not.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think
I love
Scattaboo-
him.
Yeah, I think Scattaboo has more of a chance of being a true 3-down guy than a guy like Tootin. But the thing with Tootin is he's a great receiving back, and he has like the juice that the Jaguars want to put up a lot of points. Like it's going to be
very clearly
they're going to be
yeah.
slinging that rock clearly. So
Trevor, baby. It's up for Trev.
It's going to be, what the hell? It's going to be similar to the Buccaneers offense from last year because it's Liam Cohen. Like, we're going to swing this rock, and it's going to be like a lot of like outside zone type runs to get our electric playmaker and Tootin out in space like they did with Bucky.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch, honestly.
the thing with Tootin is he has to earn his stripes. Clearly, like it was the same thing in Cohen's offense last year with Bucky. He has to earn his stripes as a pass protector,
Man,
which
this
is
guy
like, I don't know. He's a smaller dude, so
He's just so goddamn slow.
because that's why Bucky didn't start the
No
year like, with
burst.
the job. You know what I
No
mean? Like,
burst.
he had
So
to
slow.
earn his stripes in pass pro. That's why Rashad White saw so much burn early on.
Bro, he got hawked
But
down by that
I
Texas
like Tootin.
defender.
Who's
so
everyone's biggest rookie loser?
Well, who was your biggest winner?
Oh,
Trey Harris. I piggybacked
Okay,
off
you're with him,
Chris's,
okay. Biggest
Yeah.
I think there's an obvious one.
Yeah,
Shout out
Shador
Jack
Sanders.
Beck, though.
Well,
No,
I was gonna say somebody else, but I agree.
I would say Shador Sanders. I mean, he
Yeah.
fifth round
pretty
quarter.
easily.
Yeah, he
That's one of those again where I
he
think we
was-
just take him out of the equation.
Oh yeah, sure.
too,
We could just
because-
take him
Yeah.
out.
It's like a third, fourth round pick. I was gonna say Luther Burden.
Yes.
I think he was
100%.
very highly touted. I think I've been watching Dynasty rookie mocks for the longest time, and Luther Burden was like a 1A, 1B top receiver in this Dynasty class, and he dropped to the Bears, and now he's just in a crowded situation where he's going to be fighting for his life to get targets.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. We're in the camp that Caleb is going to be good. I think Caleb's going to be a very good quarterback, but you still got to worry about the fact that now they have Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, and like, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to keep 4 receivers fantasy relevant. That's
Right.
never happened before. So, do I think he could be the third guy in the offense? Yes. Is that good enough?
Well, we saw it
I don't
happen in Detroit. You know, Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery, and Amon-Ra. Like, we've seen it in literally his offense. So, you know,
Shit, even J-Mo was good last year.
right. Like, we've seen 5 guys get supported by
Yeah.
All right, like it's
But
not
some of those guys are spike games.
I was gonna say it's not gonna be the Detroit Lions offense. It's gonna be a spin on it, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a lot of similar principles to where like I think Rome is the odd man out. Sadly, I think Rome is gonna be in that Josh Reynolds role where it's just being a big body to take the pressure off the defense. I think Luther Burden is too special with the ball in his hands to get drafted and not have a plan for him.
I also love Loveland, dude. I think the 2 tight end set's going to be fire.
And we've
But that's the problem. 2 tight end sets too,
So I think
which are going to happen a lot. And Luther
So,
will
right.
be on the field.
Luther Burden and Colson Loveland are going to be the guys splitting time.
Yes.
DJ Moore and Rome are going to be on the field at all times.
Yep.
Cole Kmet's always going to be the inline tight end. It's going to be Luther Burden and Loveland splitting time as slot receivers, depending on the package they use. But it's going to be 11 personnel with a third receiver out there because that's really what Colson Loveland is. He's just
Yes.
a giant slot, and Luther Burden's a small, shifty slot, 2 completely different players. But I'm more worried about Loveland than I am with Burden because Loveland is a guy who I think needs a lot of volume to be as relevant as we want him to be in fantasy. I think Burden, he's, similar to what I say about Tootin in the running back position. He doesn't need a shit ton of touches to be insane. And, like, I promise you Ben Johnson is going to scheme up Luther Burden touches.
Well, I think
that's not going to be a problem.
I think the Loveland draft capital's no joke, though. Taking a guy at number 10,
100%.
he will be getting the ball. Will be getting the ball.
100%. But Luther Burden, like, although he was a second-round pick, like, Luther Burden was really just a first-round pick for them. Like, this is a guy who, he was the only 5-star high school prospect in this draft class that didn't get drafted in the first round.
Wow.
Like, Luther Burden is a first-round talent, bro. You can't convince me off that ledge.
And
Like,
if he was taken first round, he should have been taken first round. Somebody should have taken him. I thought he was going to be a Steeler.
He's too special with the ball in his hands, and Ben Johnson is too good of an offensive mind that Ben Johnson will cover up his flaws as a route runner and be able to scheme him touches. And again, he doesn't need, to see 10 targets a game to be fantasy relevant. Luther Burden with 4 targets and 1 designed carry could have a huge fantasy day.
I just think in terms of like other landing spots he could have went to, this is probably
This was the
lower on the
I
list.
agree with that.
Is
I agree
what
with
I'm
that.
saying. Like Luther Burden in Dynasty was supposed to be a top 6-7 pick.
Yeah.
And now he's falling to the second round in most drafts, I'd say.
Yeah. I just think
Middle of
he's.
second, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the drop is like a good thing for him. Like I think he's a value. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
definitely.
not. He's not like a guy where I'm seeing him drop and I'm like I'm staying away. Like
No,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
You're jumping on the drop.
yeah.
I would agree.
He's too talented,
His
bro.
talent is too much to pass up in
Yeah.
the second round because the upside is just so high. And I mean, I just personally think Rome is that dude, and I think DJ Moore has already proven he's that dude. And you got a top 10 pick now in Colston Loveland. So I just think it's a lot. Even if he's a special player, you are also competing with guys who are also considered special players.
You're also asking a lot of a second-year quarterback.
100%.
Yes, exactly. That too. And I mean, look, if Caleb is as good as we expected him to be, then that really won't
Right now,
be much of
like
a problem.
they've bolstered the offensive line. They've given him weapons galore. They got him Ben John. Like he has no excuses.
Oh, this
you know?
is
Like,
the year. Like, even though it's your second year, and he will get another opportunity if he
Yeah.
sucks. But the thing is, you have to show what you're about now. Like,
Yeah.
because if it ain't working this
For
year,
sure.
I don't think it is ever going to work. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
for
just
sure.
that's where I'm at with Caleb. But
And at some point, like in order, like a pecking order is gonna be established. I think it's gonna be very similar to the Lions where random guys go off, but like at some point there's gonna be a little bit of a pecking order. It wouldn't shock me if Luther Burden's just the best receiver on the team. I'm sorry.
I really,
Or even in fantasy, like I agree. Like I like the fantasy slot receivers are just more valuable than the
If he
outside
puts up
guys.
the
Yeah.
most
Are
fantasy
usually
points
safer.
on the team this year, like it's not shocking to me. I
Yeah.
really don't think so.
Like Amon Ra.
DJ Moore is great. Roma Dunze, I love him, but like Luther Burden he's that talented.
I think Loveland is their Laporta, and you could argue maybe they look at Burden as their Amon-Ra. Who knows?
Right, that's what I'm gonna say. What if I'm wrong and they just use Loveland more as just an inline tight end and phase Cole Kmet out, and then Luther Burden's on the field for 80% of snaps?
Yeah, and I mean they still split. They used to split Laporta out too. I mean
Right.
they could do a lot of things.
Right,
With this
there's so
team,
much they could do. That's what I'm saying. Luther Burden's just too damn talented to not be on
I'm
the
excited
field,
to
bro.
watch the Bears, which I think I've never said
Yeah,
before.
crazy.
Yeah.
Talent
Maybe the
wins
first
out.
time I've ever said that.
That's yeah.
He definitely fell though in terms of his rookie ranking for sure. But I'm definitely like, if I see a good enough value, like I don't have many picks anymore. But if I could trade up and get him, if I see him slipping, like he's a guy I want on my teams.
One prospect I loved coming out in the landing spot, I think immediately is in great form, is Egbuka.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
immediately, not a good thing. But like Evans is 31. Godwin just got a 3-year deal, which
Evans is on the
again,
last year of his deal too. Yeah.
right, yeah. So those guys are gonna, be gone eventually, and then Egbuka, be his time to shine. But for now, like McMillan was not a bad player last year. Like he was a good enough player last year, and Bucks do throw the ball. Well, they threw the ball a lot last year. Now Cohen's gone, so we'll see. But yeah, Egbuka, I love them coming out. I still think he's a great player, so the talent is there. And like you said, I think talent wins out. I'm a big fan of that in fantasy. But like, yeah, man, I would have loved to see him go somewhere like New England, maybe, you know, and something.
I know
like
they
that.
just paid Chris Godwin, and like his injuries weren't deemed as serious as we all thought they were. But what if Abuka is just better than Chris
Right.
Godwin coming off the injury?
Yeah.
He is 30. Yeah.
Like it's so like
Is he really 30?
29.
29. He's
Okay.
getting there. Yeah.
He just turned 29. So
Like Abuka is super talented, and
Right.
his
Yeah.
big thing coming out was how he's
Pro ready.
right. He's ready to play. So like if he's
It's
just,
just so odd.
I
the way
love
they
Chris
structured
Goddard.
it.
Yeah, it's weird.
well,
But
All three of those guys do their best work in the slot.
the odd man out is McMillan.
McMillan giving draft
J
capital.
Mac, my boy, bro.
I mean, we'll get into it. He's the biggest loser of the guys who are already in the NFL.
Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, everyone expected the big J-Mac breakout.
Thank gosh, I got off of him everywhere. Rest
But
in peace.
I did too, yeah.
Who got stuck with him in our league?
Jason. Jason has
That was
the
the
worst.
sucks.
That was the cornerstone of the Tyreek McCaff trade.
Because like not only did Godwin come back, which is bad enough, they took Egbuka, which is even worse. Doubled down on the slot, like really
I
bad.
remember I was
rough.
telling him, I'm like, don't trade him, bro. Like Chris Godwin's not re-signing. It's J-Mac season.
Well, they could throw.
He said, now that you said it's J-Mac, I never heard that nickname before. I'm keeping him. And then they signed back Godwin.
Yo,
I traded McMillan in a second for Olave.
Cook said.
Okay.
they could
Yeah,
put
so I feel good
I know
about that.
Godwin does his best work in the slot, But Egbuka just might be a better slot receiver. They could throw Godwin back on the outside like they did for a couple of years. He was there, you know.
Oh yeah, they have 3 receivers on the field, more than probably anyone in the league.
Yeah.
It's just so odd. I just didn't understand it.
Good for Baker. Baker's going to have a field
I
day.
thought Johnny Barron just would have been a great pick for them. I really do. Or, I mean, maybe not Will Johnson because Will Johnson took a tumble. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I mean, are there really all that many big-time losers?
Ramondre Stevenson.
He was already a loser before the draft.
Sure. Yeah.
Jeez. Ramondre's a
I mean,
loser,
fumbling
but
as a
I
running back
still
is-
do think he holds a role in the offense.
Sure. It's just like fumbling as a running back is just not.
No, it's not a good
Like,
thing.
yeah,
Can't
it's
do it.
Really bad. It's the
Ramondre's
best way to not see
definitely
the
a
field.
loser.
Najee, obviously.
Najee's 100%
pissed
a
about
loser
Najee.
after signing a contract there.
Jalen Polk's a good candidate who, I mean, he didn't really have any value before, but now he has literally
Might get
none.
cut.
Yeah, he has no value now.
Sam Darnold, maybe,
I don't think so.
for long term.
I don't think so.
Probably not a
He's a big
Seahawk.
time.
Yeah,
After
where
this
are
year.
you guys on? Where are we on Milrow? Like, when is he?
2 years.
When's he
That's a
taking the
2-year
shot?
guy.
I like Milrow.
I like him. I love him for fantasy, but like, where are you taking that shot in the draft? Like, because that's just a pure stash
Mid
and
to
wait,
late
right?
second, I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
207,
207.
Are
Okay.
you?
if he's there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any picks in the range he's going to go.
Yeah,
Doug Christie finalized a multi-year contract.
He's there for me at the 305. I'll gladly take him.
for sure.
but-
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If he's there at 301, I'll scoop him up.
I mean, yeah, of course. But if you are going to take him at the 208, 207, that's interesting. I didn't
Why you were going to take him at 208?
Well, do we have
take
any
consideration.
other real big losers? Or?
I don't really need many things.
Obviously,
so.
the teams that had running backs on their roster who drafted a running
Right.
back, those guys lose.
Jerome Ford. See ya.
Jerome Ford, rest in peace, man.
See
It
ya.
was a good ride, Jerome Ford.
Yeah, it was a
I
good
mean,
ride.
It was
Christian-
some good moments.
Christian Kirk, probably a pretty
Christian
big
Kirk,
loser.
Definitely a big
Yeah.
loser.
Is
Sorry, Chris.
CD Lamb a winner or a loser for Dallas not drafting any pass catchers?
The Cowboys
You
are
could
just
go either
losers.
way.
Yeah, you go either way with it.
'Cause
He's
I feel
gonna see
like-
5 million targets, so
Yeah,
he'll
but I
be
feel
fine.
like yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
feel
see
like he's just the same. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is.
Javonte Williams is a big winner.
yeah. I can't believe Dallas didn't take a receiver.
Can't believe. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm very shocked that they didn't.
did they draft? They didn't draft back either, right? Or
Actually,
they draft one late.
Jaden Blue.
Christian Watson's
Sure.
the biggest loser. Watson's a big old L.
Yeah, but he was going to miss most of the next season
Yeah.
anyway, so it really is a big L.
All the receivers on the Packers,
Yes. Your
basically.
Jaden Reed stock. I still think he's
Gold,
solid.
Golden doesn't affect Jaden Reed.
No, he really doesn't. Not all
it's
that
more
much.
Romeo Dobbs and Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah. I like the. I don't know how to feel
Tyler
about Golden.
Conklin, big loser.
Yeah, he's been a loser. Wait, why?
Pete
Mason Taylor,
Pete
brother.
loves Tyler Conklin.
Conklin's
Tyler
on.
Conklin signed elsewhere.
He's on the
He
Chargers.
signed-
Oh, my
yeah,
bad,
there you
bro.
go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think he's a Charger.
He is a
My
Charger.
bad, bro.
You're right.
My
Good
bad,
call.
bro.
Yeah,
My bad.
I don't know how to feel about Matthew Golden. I really don't.
I
He's
don't.
a field stretcher.
I just don't understand it. He's just not a first round receiver. That's like, I don't know.
You don't think so?
No,
I like Golden a lot.
no.
Not for fantasy, but
Well, that's what we're talking.
well, Chris was saying, oh, not a first round fantasy like dynasty rookie draft.
No, he shouldn't have been a first round NFL draft pick.
Well, yeah, that's what I assumed. You were
That's
talking about.
what. That's what kind of clouds the whole situation because it's like he's a first round pick in the NFL.
Right.
That really should lend to us wanting to draft him in the first.
He
round
was
of
the
rookie
third
draft.
receiver off the board. Abuka
Yes.
went before him. Yeah, that's just insane.
Well, really the fourth if you count Travis Hunter.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But I think guys like that, we've talked about it before, like the Xavier Worthies of the world, like the guys who are just fast on the outside. Like they have a role in the NFL and they are good in the NFL. Worthy is a way better receiver in the NFL
Yeah.
than he is in fantasy. Like real life football, Matthew Golden's going to be really, really good, but he's not going to get 10 targets a game. He's going to get 3 or 4 or 5, and they're going to be good, maybe. He's going to boom some weeks. He's going to fall flat on his face other weeks. But in the NFL, literally, he's going to be a good receiver, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have
Yes.
value as a field stretcher, but like enough to take him in the first. Like, I don't know. He just wasn't a first round talent to me.
I think that's a valuable position. A
What, like-
field stretching outside
Would
receiver.
Big play guy.
Like
yeah.
Xavier
Yeah.
Worthy was a much better prospect than Matthew Golden.
Yes, I agree. He was.
Okay.
He had much more like to him, like
Juice.
not even just juice,
Yeah.
like
Route
stats, not even just
Yeah.
that, just production to back up his case.
Yeah, I mean his breakout age was his freshman year of college. It's just so weird with Golden because
Like I get what you're saying though. They play like
Yeah.
similar positions.
but those 2 games were really just insane in the college football playoff from him. Like they were
He's good.
nuts.
He's more than just a speedster. Like he's better as a route runner.
He is a
than,
good route runner.
You know, just
Nick,
your-
it's right there. Matthew Golden, every 24 target
Wow.
and touch.
Yeah. He's returning kicks. Nice.
Guess he started the season
Yeah, I mean, I guess
returning
so.
kicks.
And then he turned into a
I was gonna say a first
Isaiah-
round pick starting the season returning.
Isaiah Bond didn't get drafted, right?
No.
No.
Did he sign to anybody?
No.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
They're kind of doing him dirty, but
Bro,
We talked a lot of.
I thought
He talked a lot before the draft.
I'm gonna be honest.
Called actually.
What happened?
Got prank called too.
everyone did.
I don't think he's all that good of a prospect in the first place, but
No, but he should have been drafted.
Bro, the Jets took Arian
Yeah,
Smith in the
bro,
4th
fucking-
round, bro.
There was 7 rounds of football draft. He should have been drafted.
yeah, I'd probably have to.
And
agree with you on
UDFAs,
that, but
bro.
I don't know. Maybe Matthew Golden is that dude. I don't know.
Shiloh Sanders got picked up.
Shiloh
I
Sanders
don't
got
know.
picked
I
up.
don't
Yeah.
know, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. The start of the second round though is gonna have some real good players in Dynasty football draft. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So those are pretty much our biggest winners and losers. Do we want to go over some NBA playoff stuff?
Do we want to do NBA playoffs or do we want to do a mock?
Rather do a mock. I hate the.
I feel like the theme is just do a
Yeah,
mock.
quick-
Yeah, I feel like
Quick
that's the vibe.
recap on the NBA playoffs though.
Let's stick on football right now and
Yeah.
then do that if we're going to do that.
quick recap.
No, that's not.
It's the opposite of what he
you
said.
just said.
Stay on
Yeah.
football and then we'll go to the
Sorry,
NBA.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
Let's
sorry,
do a
sorry.
mock
Yeah,
draft.
We'll see how much time we have.
Someone
left.
do a hook because I'm probably going to TikTok this. Like this
Got
is
it, big dog.
What am I saying?
this is our professional ball game mock draft.
This is a really professional ball game dynasty rookie mock draft.
We let the one guy not dressed up.
Say
Do
professional.
the intro.
Good.
Oh wait, I'm doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
In suit and tie and everything.
This is our professional NFL dynasty
It's our
rookie mock draft.
expert. Say
Yeah,
expert.
yeah. This is the. Oh wait, this is the expert NFL dynasty rookie. No.
Dynasty rookie mock.
Yeah.
You don't got to say NFL.
Yeah. This is the expert dynasty rookie mock draft.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Boom, 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 boom.
Hit the rolly stall with the rolly on. Yep. All right. You
Kick
have the
us off,
honors of the
Tom.
first
Yeah.
pick. Tom.
I have the honors of the first pick. Okay. Hang on. I want to just do an actual. Okay.
Are we gonna smoke screen each other?
No.
I wish you could
no,
do it on
not for the pod.
Sleeper where you control all the teams.
You can set.
You could set the pick.
yeah, you can set
yeah.
the pick. It's the closest you can get.
'Cause I'm gonna pull it up too.
With the first pick, it's the easiest pick ever. Give me Ashton Genty. No explanation needed.
Okay. All right. This is a tough one. Look, it's a super flex, and you had the first overall pick be a quarterback. It's tough to pass up. I think I'm going to go with the 102 being Cam Ward, the first overall pick to the Tennessee Titans. I think it's pretty simple.
With the 103, I think you gave me quite a layup here. I think Omar Ryan Hampton's the pick at 103. There's 2 clear tiers above everybody else, and it's Genty, Hampton, everybody else.
I don't agree. I
what
think
it is.
Travis and Tet have to be in the tier with Hampton.
I also think Cam
I
Ward
would
should be
agree.
in there.
Nah,
He's a
do
first
not agree at
overall
all.
Quarterback in a super flex.
Why though?
Because first-round
First
running
round pick
backs
running back,
are
yep.
almost guaranteed to be hits.
But there are also plenty of failures.
No, not in the first round.
No, but there are.
There aren't.
All right, but get your head like out of the the spreadsheet and the data for a second, just based on what you've watched. Because I know you love the both of them. Do you really think because you're saying Omarion Hampton's a guarantee because of the spreadsheet and the data? Do you really think there's a chance Tet McMillan fails as an NFL player?
100%. He's tied to Bryce Young. Of course there's a chance he fails. I think Omarion Hampton, in his situation, is a way safer pick than Tet McMillan.
This is the guy with the 101 and the 102.
So if I didn't have the 101 and I wasn't taking Jensen, I had just the 102, I would be taking Omari and Hampton. That is a fact. That is a straight fact.
I agree. I have Hampton as my 1-2 in terms of rankings, but I have it as a tier with Ted and Travis Hunter in the tier with them. I think those guys just like, especially in terms of building a dynasty team where you want to build through wide receivers first. If you're drafting that high, you probably don't have much of anything. It's a rare case unless you trade up or whatnot, but if you're drafting that high, you need a little bit of everything. So, like, if you're building through receivers first, I think it's, like, you could totally have a conversation about Tet and Omari and Hampton as prospects. If you need a receiver, you take Tet, no?
If you have a pick that early, you're usually not a competitive team.
Right.
I think you definitely should take the receiver.
Right.
Because taking a running back, like, what?
Yeah, but this is the running back class. Like,
no, I get that. But in Dynasty, I think that the overwhelming strategy has now become, if you're going to compete, you build through your receivers and then you trade for running backs.
but this is where even the NFL has changed this year, where running backs are way more valuable than they used to be. The renaissance of the running back in fantasy has also come back.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
It's way more valuable than it used to be. I think Omari and Hampton is the Trojan horse in that he is the 102. He is the 102. 102.
That was nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was good bars. I'm not going to keep debating you because I was, Trojan horse. I can't really argue with that, but I don't know. Ted McMillan's a freaking 6'5" freak of nature. Travis Hunter is so freaking freaky. Like,
Bryce Young's that guy.
And the first
He's
overall
not,
pick.
though.
Nah, he's that guy.
He's not
He's
that
just
guy.
gonna
but even if Bryce Young's not that guy with Ted McMillan, he's a wide receiver. He has years and years for them to figure out a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a receiver's leash is short. If their first quarterback isn't the guy, that means the receiver's cooked. Like,
Hampton's great off the bat, though. He's going to be great off the bat.
I think Ted is going to be great off the bat, though. Like,
I don't know if that's true. What'd you say?
I said just ask Terry McLaurin.
Bryce Young had freaking Adam Thielen at fucking the ripe age of 75 looking fantasy relevant.
Hey, Adam Thielen is a quarterback-friendly target, all right?
But so is Ted McMillan. He's 6'5". He's 6'5".
I mean, just put
Okay,
ball
but
up there, yeah.
Hampton could end up being a top 5 running back. There's no chance he's a top 5 running back, top 5 receiver.
Right.
There's no chance Ted's a top 5 receiver this year.
No, but can Ted be a
this
top
year?
10 receiver
Yeah.
this year? Can he have a Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors level season? That's impossible.
I don't think he's that level of talent, but
he could get close.
I think-
those guys had historic seasons.
I think he could definitely be a perennial top 12 guy, top 15 in
that's
fantasy.
what I'm saying.
And that is just inherently more valuable than the 3 or 4 years that the running back's going to give you.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong
I
for
agree,
having
yeah, I don't-
Hampton over Ted. I just think they are, I think they're pretty clearly in
I
tier.
disagree with your tier break.
Yeah.
No.
And the same thing with Trav. Nah, bro.
No.
I think you're bugging.
You can't disagree.
I really think you're bugging.
I'm not bugging.
Okay, so
I've been
it's on
watching
me
so
with
many
the-
videos.
I know,
They all
the Dynasty
agree with
domain guys,
Bro,
bro.
here
They
we
all-
go,
and
here
they
we
all
go.
agree
the
with me.
bakery score.
The
ah.
bakery.
No, the BDGE guys, the badge guys, they all say the same thing. Genty, Hampton, everybody else.
I don't give a fuck what everybody else says because I say something different.
Okay.
The 1-4, it's tough, man. I love Travis. I love T-Mac. But I'm going to go T-Mac here.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's the right
Back
pick.
to me.
Who's your cousin taking at 103?
I have no idea.
You haven't talked to him?
I really
You
have
know.
no clue.
You know.
I genuinely don't have an idea.
You know. He has no running backs. He should take Hampton.
I don't know who he's taking. If you're trying to throw propaganda at me to try to get Tet to follow you, then that's not going to work. But
Why, he's not going to fall to me?
I don't know what he's going to do.
His running back 2 is Alexander Madison.
Okay, but is he necessarily trying to compete this year? I don't know.
If he takes a running back, he can.
I have no clue.
Anyway.
I really
His
don't know.
team
what he's
is
taking.
not Omarion Hampton away from competing with me and Matty J in Trunks.
Yeah, but he has Nico Collins, Olave, Zay Flowers. He has receivers.
Yes, but he has Nico Collins, then nobody else that has the capabilities to be at the Nico Collins level.
But he actually
you very
has.
clearly in this league need way more than one guy at that level.
But he actually doesn't have any running backs.
And that's okay, because you could, once you put the receivers together and the tight end together and everything else, then you go and get your running back.
It's not true. When Omarion Hampton's there, when he's this 5th best running back prospect in the last 5 years.
Okay, that's sick. But guess what positions are more likely to get injured and have a shorter shelf life?
He should take Hampton. He actually should take Hampton.
I don't think it's that good.
He actually no.
If
but
you're
he
a
actually
rebuilding
should.
team, I first and foremost think you should always take the receiver over
Would you
the
take-
running back. But that's just
So if you're at the 103 and you have Ward, Hampton, and Travis Hunter there, who would you take
depends on the team structure.
with his team?
In a super flex,
With his team, who would you take?
Cam Ward.
probably Cam Ward. Yeah.
Good.
All right, the
That's
1-5.
gonna
know.
fall to me.
I don't know what he's going to do.
At the 1-5, I'm going to take the generational talent that is Travis Hunter.
Yeah, there's
I don't-
no
That's a
explanation.
steal at 105.
Yeah, 105. Yeah, exactly. I would be thrilled to get Travis Hunter at 105.
There's literally no explanation needed for that either. Yeah, with the 106, I think it's still pretty clear. I'm going to go with Travion Henderson. I think it's pretty cut and dry. He's the RB3 in this class, but you can make an argument, as Chris said earlier, that he's the RB2 in this class. So I think Travion's a
Fuck
perfect
the
fit.
bakery.
A whole lot of opportunity over there, and he could take over that job full
Fuck
time.
the spreadsheet.
Did you
man.
find it?
No, I couldn't find it.
Me neither. At the 107, I don't love it.
I hate this is where it's like
This is
clear.
like-
I think like Travion's in a tier of his own, and then everybody else is in a
These guys all just blend
I-
together.
yeah.
I guess I have to take Quinshon Judkins at 107, but I don't feel good about it. Like, there's really no other good options for me right now.
If I had the 107, I'd probably trade down, get more picks.
Yeah, but if I'm here, I'm going to take Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the move because it makes the most sense, but I just I'm feeling different to it.
Yeah, at 1-8, I'm taking a unicorn, and Tyler Warren goes to the Colts, where he could be their featured player off the rip. He could be their best pass catcher off the rip. It's putting a lot of trust in Anthony Richardson drafting a guy like Tyler Warren, but he's just the most talented player in this range, and again goes to a spot where he could be the guy off the rip. So I think Tyler Warren's the clear 1-8. He could even be the 1-7.
Let's see. At 1-9, I think the talent wins out here in a high passing volume offense. Give me Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, I don't think I would have taken him here because I still would have taken the guy that I'm picking at the 110. I'm picking RJ Harvey. I would take Harvey over Ibuka only because of the year one opportunity, especially late in the first round. You're likely a competing team. Harvey gives you the most immediate production, in my personal opinion, especially at this point in the draft. So therefore, I would take Harvey over Ibuka at this point.
At the 111, this is really tough. There's two guys I'm really debating. And I think just based off of... I'm going to go Caleb Johnson at the 111. I think the talent's there. I think he got the perfect landing spot for him. I think you can't let Caleb Johnson get to the second round.
Yeah, who are you debating between?
Loveland. It was him or Loveland.
Yeah, well, in this mock draft,
It ain't love one either.
Colson Loveland's going to fall to the second round because I will be selecting at the 112 Mr. Cleveland Harris III, Trey Harris playing with Justin Herbert. Should be a locked and loaded first round dynasty pick.
It's a
Damn.
very talented start of the second round.
I almost want to
'cause
do
if
the
I
second
get,
round.
Because I have the 2-1. Like, if I get Loveland
We can keep it
there.
going.
Keep it going. Go.
Screw it, let it rock.
Ooh, all right.
Well, you just said 201.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if he's here at the 201, I'm pretty happy about it. I'm going to take Colson Loveland here. First round tight end. Give him to me.
I actually have this pick in Dynasty. So, you got a first round receiver on the board,
Got a first round quarterback.
first round quarterback on the board. You got a first round talented receiver on the board.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's
I'm-
those three
Two
guys.
first
It
round
is.
receivers. Oh
It
no.
is.
Oh, Burton
no,
got
just
first round.
one. It is those three guys. I think at this point, if you take any one of them three, I wouldn't hate you for it. I think it's a good move. I am going to take Matthew Golden just because of the first round draft capital. That is literally the only reason. Do I necessarily think he's a better prospect? No, but first round draft capital means a whole lot in the NFL, and he's going to get every opportunity to be the guy in Green Bay.
At the 203, I think it would be silly to let Jaxon Dart fall any further. I'm going to take Jaxon Dart to 203.
What a full circle moment.
Yeah,
That
right?
was
That's
He
insane.
ends up taking Jackson.
Wow.
It's silly
I mean-
to let him go further.
In a super flex, you have to.
Yeah.
This is making me want to do everything I can to trade up to the 2-4 because, I mean, getting Luther Burden here at the 204, I think, is just the most value you could possibly get at any point in the draft. Luther Burden, you could make the case to take him as high as the 111, 112, really, if you love the prospect. So getting him a few picks later at the 2-4, I think, is ideal with the Ben Johnson offense, with the Caleb Williams year 2 breakout. I think Luther Burden's going to eat. Nom nom.
Yeah, I agree. I think 204 is criminally low for Luther Burden. Who's
It is,
protected
but
to
it's also
106.
like, who the hell are you taking him over?
Yeah, the guys that we just listed, I can't see it personally.
Is this low-key a deep draft?
It's a super.
This is
deep
a
draft.
super deep draft. It just lacks the top
Top
end.
end.
Yeah. Last year's first round, I think in its entirety was pretty stacked.
I mean, I don't even know if I want to say this. We had Bo Nix taken in the 3rd round.
But we also didn't factor in the rankings of Superflex.
We should have.
That was the problem.
We should have.
Because everyone knew we were going to Superflex, but nobody thought, okay, we got to take quarterbacks earlier now. So they went by the sleeper rankings, which was their mistake. And it allowed me to get Michael Penix in the 3rd round and eventually trade him. So,
I mean to get Jaden Daniels at the 1-7.
It's crazy.
yeah. I took
Jaden Daniels
Brock
goes
over him.
higher in startup drafts than he did in the rookie draft.
In our
I would
That's
have.
crazy.
Jaden Daniels, the lowest he'd go in a startup
But,
draft
like-
right now is probably 1-3.
Even in our rookie draft, who was he going over?
Oh, you probably would have went over
Drake May got drafted over him.
Rome.
Rome was bad.
I took Neighbors and
But
Brock.
Drake May, you could
I
make a
took
case
Neighbors
for,
and Brock.
so,
I
like,
think I'd
Listen,
Drake
At the
May,
time-
there
at the
was
time.
no case for
At
him
the
over
time.
Jaden Daniels in fantasy.
I agree with
In
you. I
fantasy.
think you can't take him over. I
liked Drake May, the prospect, more than Jaden Daniels, but for fantasy, you got to
at
take
the
the
time, though, we
rushing.
never knew Jaden Daniels was going to be as good as he is.
Nah, but he always had the rushing upside he had.
Bro, at the 103 and the 105, I was between 3 guys.
Well, yeah, why didn't you take Jaden at
It was-
105 then?
Because I got Brock Bowers. I mean,
Okay, you'd still take Jaden Daniels over Brock Bowers right now, obviously.
probably, but I also would have had Mark Andrews still at tight end, and I ended up with 4 quarterbacks that could all ball.
No, but you're saying like, oh,
Brock and Jaden's like a discussion. They're probably valued like pretty similarly.
And then I got
not in
Malik
super
too,
flex. Jaden's obviously over a tight end.
yeah, but
Brock,
like,
you're saying a tight end. He's the tight end.
Yeah,
one
but
for
no,
the
no,
next
but he's
10
still.
years.
It doesn't
no,
matter.
I agree. Jaden is more valuable, but
Obviously.
for
It's
my
close,
team, it just
so-
makes
It's.
more sense.
I feel like it's probably not.
No, it is.
In
Brock is
full
a top 8
PPR?
dynasty.
Let's
asset.
ask. Let's ask. Keep trade cut.
With the 5th pick in the 2nd round, I'm going to go with Cam Scattaboo.
That's about the spot that I would say so too. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jaden Higgins at the 206. I think the potential is obviously there. Size, speed, athleticism combination. Like it's hard to pass up.
Jaden
on.
Daniels is a QB1.
Yeah.
There's a players to even the trade. Kyron Williams, Judkins, Bryce Young, 108, 109.
I don't think it's that big of
a
a difference. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dean lives by the freaking spreadsheets and the model. So
I just think that's
By
crazy.
I'm
I
the
don't know.
all-time winning team in the league.
mad champions.
All-time winning.
So many champions.
We got the same.
You
amount
can't
of
say
championships.
anything. You
We
can't
got the
say
same
a
amount.
word.
What do you mean? We have the same amount, and that changes this year.
At the 207,
Nah, it doesn't.
I'm going to take Jalen Milroe at the 207 in a super flex. I really like that landing spot. I think that
You said that, yeah.
it's going to open up in a couple years. He's going to have his opportunity, especially in fantasy. Jalen Milroe has all the tools you would want in a fantasy quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Here at the 208, I'm between 3 guys. I'm between 2 receivers and then 1 running back.
Is it
If I
Beck
was
and Noel?
Becca
Or-
Noel, yeah, and then
I like
and
Beck
then,
a lot.
and then Tootin.
Tootin, yeah, this is where it starts.
If I was drafting and I had the 2-8, I'd go with Tootin here and just pray a different receiver makes it back around to me in the third round. Whenever I have my third round pick, I think Tootin. There's a huge tier break in the running backs after Tootin, so I'd want to make sure I get
Who'd you
him.
take? You took Tootin?
Yeah,
It's hard to pass that up at that point.
yeah.
And you got a lot of clear-cut tight ends here, too. So that's the interesting part.
With the 2-9, do I go?
Beck is still on the board. Jalen Noel is still on the board. And all the tight ends. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mason Taylor. I think he could be a solid, productive tight end year one, even if they.
I'm kind of curious. The 4 tight ends here, Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo, Terrence Ferguson, and Harold Fannin, how would you guys sort them out?
Mason Taylor has a really fitting tight end name, so I like it.
That's
He
a
does.
great point. Terrence
It-
Ferguson's like the basketball player.
Yep.
Terrence Ferguson.
Yep.
I like Mason Taylor. I think he's the best one. He was taken in. I like Fannin actually a lot.
I love Fannin.
His draft capital was less, and he's also behind Njoku, but I love the prospect the most out of the 4 of them.
I'd probably go Taylor, Fannin.
I like the landing spot for Fergie too.
Me too.
Like Sean McVay is gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? And they need a tight end too so bad. Like
I
the-
think
the
I
Higbee days are
unfortunately
good.
have Ferguson at the top, and then Fannin, Taylor, Arroyo.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'd agree. I love Fannin so much. I just trust the Rams to figure out how to use a tight end more than the Cleveland Browns. I kind of hate everything the Cleveland Browns do. I just don't trust them organizationally. I guess that's a bad way to look at it.
I
That's
trust
how you were
everything
looking
the
at
Rams
the
do.
Giants, but
Yeah.
it's a bad way to look at it. But I just don't trust
No, I
anything
agree.
the Browns did.
So off that point, I'm going to go with the 209 or
210.
210. The 210, I'm going to go with Terrence Ferguson.
Oh,
Kid forgot he's picking.
at the 211,
Jack Beck is still on the board.
I'm gonna take Jack Beck. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna do. Second round draft capital. I think that Geno Smith coming to town. He's definitely gonna have his opportunities year one. Good pick.
Yeah, I won the second round. I said I was considering him before, so obviously I'm not building one team, but it's pretty crazy. I think that he made it back to me. I'm going to go with Jalen Noel here. I think the better of the 2 Houston Texans rookie receivers they drafted, so getting him at the end of the second round I think is huge.
You think he's better than Higgins?
I do.
Taking 2 rounds later, you think he's better?
I thought he was a better
Wow.
prospect. I'm not going to let the draft obviously the NFL thought Higgins was better, but I'm not going to let the draft capital change.
It's because
my,
he's 6'4". And
Yeah, I
he's
mean,
like a 4.48. Yeah,
Freak of nature.
he is.
It's not like I watched every single prospect, but the guys I did watch, I'm not going to let my opinions change so fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we're not doing the third round, but to start the third round, you got 3 tight ends who are likely to be involved in their offenses and a starting quarterback in Tyler Shuck or potential starting quarterback in Tyler Shuck. It's pretty crazy what you could get at the top.
Shit, you
of
can
the
take the shot on Shador too.
Yeah,
Like,
you can take the shot on Shador at this point in the draft. Who cares?
I'm at again.
There's
I'm
still
at
some of them
3-1.
running backs too. There's Jaden Blue.
Sampson.
There's Sampson.
Devin Neal.
Devin Neal.
Yeah, if I get Shador at 3-1, I'm taking him for sure.
Yeah, it's
Why not?
it's insane.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
depth of talent in this draft is actually really impressive. You don't see that this much. So, all right, I don't care about the NBA playoffs. It's been it's been fun,
yeah.
but you know,
Hopefully the Knicks close it out tonight.
Yep.
better pull
Let's
that
go
thing off.
Next.
And Nuggets Clippers is going to be super entertaining tonight.
That's
too.
like 4
Game 5
games
is
on
big time.
tonight. for
Yeah.
whatever
There are
reason.
4
Why are we
games
doing
today.
that,
It's
bro?
so weird.
On a Tuesday is crazy.
The 2 on NBA TV are so not
Like
watchable
on a
though.
Tuesday night is crazy.
Yeah.
On Saturday when they're all on at different times, like that's lit. We live for that. But on a
Sunday
Tuesday
to
night
4.
is
Yeah.
just not
Sunday
normal.
slate is the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Tuesday night's not
Fix
normal.
the breakdowns of how you schedule playoff games, please. Adam Silver, I'd appreciate it. Put them on the weekend. We all want to watch that. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all of our socials. I hope you are all doing your Dynasty drafts and do incredibly well in your Dynasty drafts. A lot of NBA playoff basketball to watch tonight. So, even if it's tomorrow, whenever you watch it, great NBA games on. So, sports are sporting right now. And with that,
That was ball game.